Hello and welcome to Tear Your Skin Off and my hangout stream. And today I wanted to do like an old school kind of hangout stream. Before we start, did you know that when you have leprosy, with the image we have from leper with all the lesion, actually leprosy doesn't attack the skin, it attacks the nerves. But because you don't feel it anymore with your skin, you get all kind of lesion by like cutting yourself and shit. I thought it was fascinating. Be nice to your local leper and take care of your skin. Take it off, put it on, give it a break for tonight because it's tear your skin off. Before we start, also I wanted to do a shout out to two projects that launch this week. Heroic role playing game by Bear the Gen X GM, the Gen X GM, friend of this show. So you can go on BackerKit. You know what? I'm gonna put the link in the chat right now. You know, you can go watch it out if you're into superhero game, and it's kind of an old school, inspired by the old Marvel superhero that people like to call Phase Rip. And also another friend of the show, a frequent contributor. I know you would hate me saying that. Modern Necessity by Viktor Gorchev, which used to be a lot on stream with on a Friday night chill stream or some rando RPG still, some rando or whatever. Max Liao show. We used to be on show together. He founded already. Bear is close to founding. Victor founded already. So go check it out as well. I'm gonna put the link for that as well. If it's something you fancy, why not give it a shot? But it costs nothing to go have a look, see if what's offering is something that interests you. Let's bring up some people in on here. Hello, Bear. Talking about your shit.
I got to change my name to Bear the Genetic GM apparently because that's what you called me. So
Gen X GM. Oh, sorry, man.
That's okay. No, I like it.
The genetic GM.
The genetic jackhammer.
Yeah, sorry. I might have been
French. I know.
Yeah, exactly. I might have been French for a bit.
I might have suddenly been French.
Have a good night and Mercurius Olicus. I always want to add an editor that name. Should I drink more?
You have always.
Okay, that's
right. You're way more fun when you're drunk, but tonight I don't know. Maybe not tonight because you'd be why like I don't want to hear you.
Maybe it's gonna be a thing. Yeah, well, maybe I'm gonna cut the show short. But I've been drinking all day, so you know what? Why stop now?
Keep it up, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta have goals.
Clean enough. Yeah. So,
how you doing, guys? I'm here too.
Oh, and Phil, I didn't introduce you. So I didn't. Did I introduce Justin? Yeah, Justin.
Eating a candy bar, maybe.
Justin, my old buddy Justin, that I haven't seen in a while, and Phil the Trail, the skin advocate.
I'm pro skin. I'm taking the pro skin position.
Yes, is there on that show to have like the counterbalance of the pro skin?
I'm skin agnostic.
I want you to know, Max, my constituents appreciate you hearing both sides.
Now, there is a type of leprosy that exclusively affects the Roma.
The what?
And the Roma,
Gypsies.
the Gypsies.
Oh,
I was trying not to use the racial slur.
Yeah, well,
why?
No. So what it does is it does, like you said, attacks the nerve endings, but it also attacks the connections around the face exclusively. So they start to bleed from the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, and the ears until the face rips off.
Oh, really?
And then they die.
Oh, I wasn't aware of this kind of this kind of like a specific kind of leprosy.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah. They call it ENS design. ENS. What they call it again? ENS disease now. That's the topic of the show tonight. We're talking about leprosy. Welcome. How would you do leprosy in your game?
Do you tell the character their face is coming off, or do you let the character role play leprosy?
No, they just get a little wound here, and it doesn't go away, and it gets bigger.
Yeah, it has a cure now. Yeah, exactly. And it's not as contagious as people used to think.
Stop crying about it.
Yeah, stop crying about it, man. You got leprosy, whatever. Like, we all have our issue.
Go to the doctor, jeez.
No, you need Jesus.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
You ever have that feeling like you're on vacation and you get on the wrong bus and suddenly you're somewhere you didn't expect to be? Well,
And then your kidneys are gone.
Yeah. That's a fun time, no?
No lo sé, soy turista, por favor, no robes mis órganos.
I go on a lot of cruises. That'd be terrifying. Like, where am
Yeah.
I going? I gotta
You
get
go on a
back
lot
to
of
the
cruises?
boat.
You go on a lot of cruises?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, after being a Navy guy, now you want to go on cruises?
It's the best part of being in the Navy is just looking out at nothingness and ocean.
Yeah.
I can just do that.
love
Look at my
that.
bank account. I can look at nothingness. It's quite easy.
So I worked at the Bush Plate Heritage Center in Sault Ste. Marie. And for the several months I worked there, at a museum, I spent most of my days sitting on the slip because it was the old water bomber hangar for the water bombers. They're on the water. I spent my whole day just looking at the coal power plant on the shore on the American side. It's the only thing I ever did.
That's good.
Yeah.
What a story.
I really liked that he had to clarify that the water bombers were on the water. That was my favorite.
I just making
part of the
sure.
story.
Some people are dumb. Some people are really dumb.
I was working with the water bombers in the desert.
Well, actually, the water bomber, they don't use their name from being on the water, but from bombing water, no?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, they have water. So they made
That could work, I guess.
what was-
no?
what
What
was
if you fill a
that?
water bomber with sand and you
Did
drop
they
them down on
land
fire?
water?
It would be too heavy. It would
No,
the fuel
they-
cost would be brutal.
Um, So
Water is pretty heavy as well. I don't know.
yeah,
think
but
sand's heavier than water.
they pick it up
I don't
from
know.
People in chat, you know, like the density,
Yeah, they
mass-
usually go down
the
into like a
mass
lake or a
water,
bay and
yeah.
scoop up the water, and then they fly over and drop it, and then circle back
Yeah.
around. Right? They don't carry it from the
Yeah.
ground up.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely sinks in water.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So it'd be more
But
dense.
that's
Hi,
also
kids.
linked
Tonight
to
we're
buoyancy.
learning about leprosy and basic thermodynamics.
So
There you go. Martin
I
Lloyd's
can't
on.
I can't remember the name of the plane, but the water bomber that replaced the Turbo Beaver, the one we're famous for, the
The
French
Avril
the French bought a bunch of them and they were told not to use it with salt water. And they did use it exclusively with salt water, so they just kept falling apart because the French.
Wait,
What?
Did they call them their
Really?
warranties? Or?
No, they avoided their warranties because they were told not to use them with
Don't use
salt
this with
water.
salt water. We don't feel to do this. We will do as you
Yeah.
please. You do not tell us. No, but the tool.
And it just corroded the fucking water bombing.
All right. That concludes the water bomber portion of that show.
Yeah.
That's what
You
you
know,
think.
I feel like I learned something, so it's not a wasted day.
Yeah. Now we can all go to bed like a little,
Can I-
a little smarter.
Can I get some clarification on these water bombers, though?
Well,
Do
what
they
clarif-
water?
Yeah,
they pick up water and they use them as
Like on
bomb.
a fire?
Yeah. They're used for
Oh,
putting
okay.
out forest fires.
Gotcha.
I guess
And-
you could drop it on something else. Like-
Yeah.
Hippies.
So the beaver was the.
I was trying to
beaver-
figure out the tactical
Only if
purpose
we
of
put some like
dropping a
some
bunch of
liquid
water on.
detergent in with it,
something.
so when we drop it on the hippies, they also get a bath. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, that's what that plane had. It had a added foaming agent that. Was
So
one
you
of the
just throw
big-
some palm olive in there and take
instead
out all
of
the hippies.
instead of anti-inflammatory
There you
chemicals
go.
or whatever.
And a fourth wave feminist.
Now we're going
program.
places.
Perfect. I'm in.
Just one.
So Bear, your project is not quite funded yet, but it's
Not
getting
quite.
close. It's getting close.
It's
You're
really
only
close.
like about 2,000 away, right?
Oh, we just hit
2,000 away.
13,000. We're exactly
There you
2,000
go.
away.
2,000 away.
Easy.
Sweet.
That's
Must
Canadian,
be,
guys. Don't get excited if you're in the States. It's not that
Yeah.
much money.
Yeah,
like
you just need to
pretty,
pledge like 50 cents.
Exhilarating, right? Looking at the number go up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How much time do you
I've been
spend
getting
looking at the
sleep.
number going up?
All of it.
No, I just every now and then take a glance over. Someone messages me. It's been a long weekend, man. It's been an exhausting long weekend.
Can imagine. Can imagine.
Bunch
I
of
saw so
tragic.
you sent a bunch of update and stuff like that.
I fucking legitimately fucked up when I set it up. I wanted to do 60 days. I wanted doing 90 days. I guess things happen for a reason. And I literally thought in my head, okay, well, maybe like around, day 88, we'll fund. We're not even 36 hours in. We're $2,000 away.
Hey, we're not allowed to talk about that.
Fucking shocked. You know what I mean?
Justin,
I'm
sometimes it's just a
Nice,
number. Yep.
Has
Yeah,
it
no,
slowed down, or has it gotten faster? Like, is it still ramping up?
Well, you always have in the first 24 hours. You always have a big.
We had a big push in the first 24 hours, and then by yesterday, we hit 10,000 yesterday, and then now we're up to 13,000 today. It's funny.
Okay.
You average out all the backers, everyone's around $80 is the average backing. That's neat.
The hard cover.
Yeah.
Getting that hard cover.
Yeah, that's what I got. It's not your first Kickstarter either, no? Your first like crowdfunding. That's a backer kit.
I crowdfunded Heroic 1 and 2 back before my father passed, and that derailed me a little bit. But now I'm back on the path and doing what I got to do.
So
I ain't gonna live forever.
So
Does it get easier with time?
What was that?
Does it get
Does it
easier?
get easier with time? Like doing the whole
No.
like fucking crowdfunding stuff?
No,
No?
it's anxiety. It's imposter syndrome. It's all those great little mental demons that live in your head that come out to play when you lie your head down on the pillow at night.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
I can imagine
it's only imposter syndrome until you actually do it. Then it's not anymore.
And then it's I fooled them all syndrome.
Or I'm a dick syndrome.
It's actually just
One or
another
the other.
name for imposter syndrome.
Exactly.
You do it. You have actually done it.
Justin, 20 years in the film industry, every time I walked on set for a part that I was cast in the back of my head until they said action, I was thinking the director was going to look and go, oh, no, we want the other guy, not you. Leave.
No.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's how your brain will work in those situations.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, you do right now, boy. Boy, you really know the feeling. Would you like to make it worse for you right now? I could make it worse.
This
Put images in
motherfucker.
your head.
This motherfucker's found perfection, nirvana, and he doesn't want it.
I know.
It's called syndrome because it's not logical. I just wanted to make that.
Yeah.
So
That's
Bear,
probably not why it's called syndrome, but I just said that. It sounded
yeah, it's good enough.
Yeah,
No, it's good enough. Well, syndrome.
syndrome.
It's a condition.
My favorite character from
It's a
The
condition.
Incredibles.
Syndrome.
Yeah. How do you feel about could you do like the Incredible with the heroic?
Absolutely.
Very
You can
good.
do anything. You can literally, this system, I mean, I didn't design it. I just added stuff to it, changed it, and, improved it, or in my mind, improved it, modernized it. But,
Thank God it's impossible to patent a math system.
But the engine itself is a solid
Sure.
engine. You can do anything with it. Like you could do, they're not just superheroes. You could do horror, you could do fantasy, you could do sci-fi, you could do a cop procedural. Hell, you
Can I
could
do
do
a slice of
romance, Japanese slice of life anime with it if you really wanted to. You can do
You
anything.
do slice of life with no system.
Well, I do that
Shut
every
up,
day.
bro.
When I get out of bed, I do a slice of life game and like it's a LARP I'm playing. But I'm fucking losing. So that's
You were playing as a guy with
It's
the
the most,
cat.
it's the most
Big YouTube
dedicated LARP ever.
the most dedicated LARP ever. Reality. Like
Dresses
someone
up
said,
and everything.
Someone said, what if we're all just characters in someone's game of The Sims? I'm like, well, then they're a shitty fucking player in my version because
Well, no, they haven't like trapped you in a pool yet until you pissed yourself.
we used to work with this guy in security back in Vancouver, and he loved The Sims. He was a complete freak. And I pissed him off when they were having a conversation on shift change, and I pissed him off, and he left at a huff. And my number 2 was this little fucking guy, Sean Beaupre. He just turns around and goes, he's gonna go home, and Andrew's gonna be stuck in the pool all night, right? I'm just like, what? He's gonna put that toad. He's got you as one of the. He's gonna be in the pool. You like that, Andrew? You live in the pool now, Andrew. You like that? And I'm like, fuck. And then I found out there are people like this. There are legitimately people who play The Sims, put people they know in the real world in the game, and when they get mad, they go punish the sim.
Yeah, it's like a sim voodoo.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Fuck up shit, brother.
But
You know,
at
The
Doesn't
least-
even
Sims.
occur to me.
Always been upset about The Sims because when they first started designing this game, it was made to be like a architecture simulator.
Yeah.
And then at some point, they said, "Oh, you know what? You should have people in that, so you can put people living in your building that you made." And then that took over the game, right? And they kind of toned down the architecture side. But that's what I fucking want. I want the fucking why don't they make a good architecture simulator, right? I don't want to do Sim City and shit like that. I want to build
I want
building.
SimCities. I want SimCities, specifically SimCities 3000, and give me an online mode so the military base is useful.
Oh no! I want SimCity 2000 and The Sims combined together as an MMO, where you go and you fuck with the other guy's city.
Well,
You know
that's
what I
what I'm
mean?
saying. In SimCities 3000, you could build a military base, but all it did was have parades show up in your city. I want to be able to attack someone else's city.
Oh, so you want Total War brought into that as well, or Age of Empires?
It's just light aspect, right? Like city states.
Yeah.
No
Doodle
voice
Squatch
behind
say hello, Doodle Squatch by the way. So I never played The Sims, don't understand the direction. I never did really either. Like I said, I played it because I liked it to design building and stuff like that. But
I
then
never played it.
the rest of the game didn't appeal to me. What about you, Phil? Are you a big Sim
I
guy?
have played Sims. Didn't care for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried it once.
Because then I realized what I was doing. I was like,
Yeah, it's
I
it's
wanna
like
do
playing with
this.
dolls.
Yeah, I had to
out.
micromanage this guy's fucking
Except my
breakfast schedule.
my dolls have superpowers.
Yeah, that's what you do
They're
when
not
you
lame
try,
and they're
right?
going to their computer job
Yeah, exactly.
and working out.
Yeah.
I-
So,
I-
what I'm saying, the chick
The Sim
game, right?
completion.
yeah. Having to micromanage some guy's breakfast schedule and never being able to do it on time because you couldn't set a fucking scheduler. I was like,
Isn't that just being called a healthcare worker?
yeah, probably, but I don't want that to feel work.
But I
Healthcare
guess
workers.
I don't want you taking care of old people, Justin. Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't want Justin taking care of old people
Dear
either.
God, no.
So, guys in chat,
There'd be
if you
dog
have
cars
topics
involved.
you want us to talk about, I want to do an old school hangout show because the last show I did was a little more structure with the topic, when we're going to a discussion and stuff like that. But I missed the whole fucking kind of chaos that we can have. So I wanted to say, you know what, I'm gonna bring my old buddies back and just
Can we have a no spoiler
so we're
discussion?
just here for the chaos. I get it. When he does
we
this
have a-
fancy pants show, we're not allowed to be there.
He's taking me away. Well, he's having those shows.
Well, you
because
are
I've
the
been playing
fanciest
game.
of the lads, sir. You are the fanciest of the lads.
all right, sometime when I wanna discuss a specific topic, right? Just I don't know.
Have you guys
That's what I'm
seen Dune?
Just happened
The
like
new
that.
Dune
No, I'm
movie
going
yet?
next weekend.
I was hoping we could have a no spoiler discussion because I also haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it and I won't see it. I haven't
First
seen
take.
the.
That's right. You guys are anti. the new
Yeah, I
one.
didn't see the new Denis Villeneuve Dune at all.
Did you
even
like?
the first?
Did you like the first new one, Bear?
I loved it. I loved it.
Dude,
It was
I
great.
watched
Yeah.
it today.
Yeah, always has the
Already.
right takes, guys. Just listen to Bear.
No,
Taste.
no, I have a lot of wrong takes. Trust
If you
me.
want, you can go
But
to.
when it comes to cultural taste, you're on point,
If you
sure.
want, you can go over to Connell. What's this channel called? Cigar DM.
Cigar DM.
The Cigar DM's channel, and watch my me and Omen now talk about it for 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah, talk to
That's
you
fair.
about it.
The only one thing about old
Bear
Justin
showed up
needing
for a
care
while
too
there,
many
I
women,
don't
yeah.
know. I think there were other people on that show. I'm not too sure.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty I'm so tired of the race and gender swapping. Right, they always go one way too. So when they do when a movie do that, I'm saying, I'm not interested anymore. Just fucking kill my interest.
I think in the
Did they do
case,
that with
yeah, they
Yeah.
did with a
gender
few
swap
things.
anyone? And
Yeah, they
Leah
gendered
Kynes.
Liet Kynes,
Gender.
the father
Yeah,
of
Leah
Chani.
Kynes is gender swapped. Yeah.
Yeah, and race.
and
swap.
race.
Yeah.
Because in the book,
And therefore Chinese race swap as well, I guess.
yeah,
Kind of.
Yeah, but
supposed to be half
they've
Arab,
done-
not
Okay.
half.
I don't know.
Chani is a redhead in the book.
Yeah, but
That's
an
all you
Arab
need to
redhead.
know.
Oh,
No, but that's all you need to know. Yeah, Berbers. Well, not Arabs, but Berbers. There's redheaded
Was she-
Berbers.
yeah.
Close enough.
Was she redhead? I forgot she
Yeah,
was
she's a redhead in the book. And there you go. Yet another of my people erased from well, our people,
Yeah.
Max, erased by Hollywood.
Jessica was described as a copper? No, old browns. They say. Yeah, old browns.
Well,
Now
she was
they
a
made
redhead.
her a redhead in
Yeah.
the
Brown.
miniseries.
David Lynch. David Lynch. She was a redhead,
I thought
Yes.
she
but
was
not
in the
not
miniseries.
Channy.
And that's the thing too. Like I fucking love the David Lynch movie, like the Dune movie. Like that's one of my
Yes, you
favorite
used to
movies
watch
of
it
all
every day
time.
when you came home from school. We know. We've heard this
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
You don't have to hate the other one just because you liked one of them.
That's how I roll, man. I'm a very loyal guy.
Honestly, I think he probably
I am.
I think he probably did that for budgetary reasons. Like he probably got more money for doing that, but that was not the bad part of that movie. Like I was telling
The
there
Dune?
earlier, the new one, like
The
the
new first one.
characters' personalities are like
Yeah. Well,
totally upside down from what
Eh.
they are in the books and all that.
that's
crap.
that's the other thing too.
Go
I
watch
fucking
the
hate
column.
Chalamet. What is his fucking name? The guy that played Paul, like Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothée
Yeah.
Chalamet. Yeah. I
Oh.
fucking can't stand this face.
I was telling this to Omanow after the show ended. I think the guy that they're having play Faye in part
Fayed.
2, Austin Butler or whatever his name is, he would have
Yeah.
been better. I think he
Oh,
would
yeah.
have been a better Paul.
Oh, I
And-
heard somewhere
and
that
also,
Fade wasn't even in it, so I'm glad to hear that that's not true.
Guys, it's not
No, he's
Fayed.
not in the first one.
Fayed.
Fayed.
Or Fayed. Fayed.
Very.
According to the David Lynch movie, it's Fade.
Well, yeah, according to the David Lynch movie, it's Harkonnen. It's Harkonnen. They all say Harkonnen now, you know.
And I'm a David Lynch loyalist. So.
Are you Dave? Well, why don't you and Mr. Max get in your fucking car, go to Twin Peaks, and enjoy some amazing pie while looking at
Let's get in the Lynchmobile.
It's
Oh,
hot.
this you mean this Twin Peaks, not the Hooters knockoff. Enjoying some pie.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, sweet
Legend of
cherry
Chocolate.
pie.
They and also
tender
another
spot.
thing, like with the new movie. What?
That's funny.
I made that joke earlier.
Yeah, but he made it better. Shut up.
The other
was a
thing with
text.
the the other thing with the new Denis Villeneuve movie, I hate the aesthetic. It's too, and I don't like from what I hear, like with this dissonant soundtrack and stuff like that. I can't stand it.
I like.
I don't like the gray. Everything is gray and washed out and stuff like that. Doesn't feel
I think
like
I
this.
think it
With
was
you there.
actually beautiful, but I agree with you. I don't like everything is hyper post modern
Yeah.
architecture. Like
Well, but the thing is the
But,
costume design and stuff like that is really interesting because it's like alien. It's so like it's 10,000 years. It's more than that actually, but it's 10,000 years since the Butlerian Jihad. You know what I mean? And it's like everything's fucking weird looking.
Yeah.
And I like that because it shows progress. Because nothing annoys me more than sci-fi that looks like Los Angeles.
well, the miniseries did that. It was just cheap.
Yeah, but they just went a really bad way.
It was just cheap. I kind of agree with you that the Sardaukar are goofy looking, but they're also like I think they were based on the Dutch Guard or something like that.
Yeah, but the problem is with the Sardaukar. Okay, so everyone says why did the Sardaukar look so stupid in David Lynch? It's like, are you fucking stupid?
Well, they're
Why did the
gassed out
Sardaukar? Because they're
troopers.
disguised as Harkonnens. Because he can't send in.
Oh yeah,
It's a secret. It's a
That's even part of
secret
the
that
movie.
he's doing.
Yeah.
This. Come here, you fucking.
Yeah, and
Right, get
they
comfortable.
did that. They did that in the miniseries, didn't they? They disguised them.
Well, they did that in the book.
Yeah, but they didn't do it in the new movie. They were
Oh, no,
wearing
didn't?
white instead of black, like
I think
the.
you're right.
Okay, you
Yeah.
comfy now?
Well, I know I'm white. I watched it this afternoon.
Oh, fair enough.
Well,
But in this one,
It's
they just
fresh
are
in my
starting
memory.
car. And it's like, well, you can't. The whole point is that no one's supposed to know. The Landsrad's not supposed to know that the Emperor is backing the Baron. Because if the Landsrad finds out that the Baron backed the Emperor backed the Baron versus Atreides, that's going to be a fucking civil
But
war in the Landsrad. You know what I mean?
They couldn't change their outfits because the audience is too stupid to be able to tell.
Exactly.
And that's
You mean in the
my
middle.
point with a lot of the things in that movie, that they were flipped because the audience is too stupid to be able to take intrigue or deception or misdirection. Like the subtle grains of these things are like beyond the viewer because they're too fucking stupid, or at least they think you're too stupid, or they will treat you like you're too stupid.
Okay, yes, you're very cute. And I love you.
Also, I got to say, like, I'm a big fan of like the Dune book, but I only like the first book.
I like
all the rest.
first. I like Dune, Dune Messiah, and Children of Dune, and that's where I stop.
Yeah. I wish they hadn't made those two books into one miniseries. Like they forced them together for the second
Dune and Dune
Minis-
Messiah.
Yeah,
No, Children of Dune and Dune Messiah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I didn't know they did
they
that.
they
But it's
forced
still a good
those two-
miniseries.
It's great, but I would have liked it if they had just done the second one, not the second one.
Well, so here's the thing. This is something like I get into a lot of heat, and people. I've noticed something about this modern generation, millennials onward. They don't really tend to understand exaggerated comedy. Like they think anything you say must be your God's truth because you couldn't possibly just be exaggerating for the purpose of it. And I eat a lot of shit for my constantly referring to BattleTech as shitty Dune. Like it's Dune with zombie robots.
I understand that.
And that's one of my problems with BattleTech is that if you take out the giant robots, there's a really interesting Dune-like world there where I could see you playing in that world. But when a Dune RPG comes out, I go, it's very interesting. It's very beautiful. I'm so glad you're doing this. But I have no idea what the fuck you're going to play in a Dune RPG because it's a universe designed to tell one story, the story of the Golden Path, right? So... hey, Doc Flamingo, what are you gonna do? And so people are like, no, you could play this, you could play that. Oh, that sounds really fucking boring,
Well, that's why, like you say, the prequel books by the Sun are bad, but
No, they're awful.
I don't think so. I just think they're tonally different. Like they're a different quality of writing, but I actually like the stories there. If it was independent of like the Dune books. If you changed the fucking names of everybody, it would have been a great series.
Mark's genre mixer say, can you recommend what book of the series I should read or audiobook version I should listen to?
Dune, just Dune.
That's what we just talked about.
Yeah, and like for me, like, and I can explain why. Like, I only like the first Dune book because I think I love the story of Paul Atreides, right? How he was like a genetic engineer and then like raised by his father, was one of the greatest diplomat ever. And then because his father was such a great diplomat, he attracted all those amazing people around. So he had like one of the best mentat. He had one of the best swordmen. He had his lady Jessica, that was
who violated her Bene Gesserit demands to please Leto.
Yeah, the father of Paul. Yeah,
That's
because he was.
But hang on, don't forget, it's also a warning about the power of charisma and charismatic leadership, which is why Paul fucks up.
That's why I don't like the rest of the book. Right,
but that's what Frank Herbert was telling the story about, was the danger, because he lived through fascism and was like, this is a dangerous thing, and charismatic leaders are a bad idea.
I cannot prove that, but I think to be honest, I think that's like a postdoc. I think what happened.
Yeah. I think like Frank Herbert, I'm in the wrong place to argue against fascism. My apologies, gentlemen.
No, I did not break the rules. I want to make that quite clear. Normally,
I think that Frank Herbert wrote that book, right?
Other people were, but this time
are we not allowed to discuss fascism?
Well, it's technically
we are, but
like right?
Only in positive terms.
Wow.
Once again, I would like to reiterate, I did not actually break the rules this time. I am not blaming someone else for something I did. I actually didn't do it.
What I'm saying, like, I love the story but I love charismatic leader. I think they're important, and I think we need more of them, right? So I don't buy the whole like warning against charismatic leader.
Are you enjoying Justin right now?
But isn't it more a question about what the book's about, not really what you? Oh, you're saying that's why you liked it.
That's why I like the first book. But I think when Frank Herbert wrote the book, right? I think he wrote this book, and people took a lot from it, right? People like love the book and they love Paul Atreides, but I think afterward that Frank Herbert realized what he wrote and he didn't like it, and then he wrote the following book to kind of dismantle the myth of Paul.
Citation
so I think it's all like, oh, it was a warning, guy. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I cannot prove it. But that's the feeling I have when I read the book. The second book came out like years later, and it really felt like a deconstruction of the first book. I think like Frank Herbert was a hack. He wrote this amazing book by accident, and then he spent like his whole
Wow.
fucking rest of the career trying to disconstruct them and to
Okay.
make them like
I
stupid.
want to point out
That's my
two
theory.
things. I want two things. The first one, I'll deal with the most recent comment. Frank Herbert was a hack. All good writers, the better writer you are, the more appreciated your work is, the more hackish you actually are as a writer.
Yes.
And second of all, to a comment Bear made, I want to say Justin Trudeau is not a charismatic leader. What
No.
he is a definite respecter of democracy and its procedures.
Yeah. Don't
Are they,
get a,
are
don't,
they
don't
rounding
get
you guys
yourself
up now or
arrested.
something?
Yes.
Dude, I got my maid certificate in the
20
mail. You know, it's like, are you
Yeah.
experiencing hard times? As-tu des problèmes? Are you poor? Pas d'argent, toi, là? Like, it was all bilingual, and it was really
Yeah.
weird. Like, but now I know what the French word for self-termination is, so that's nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and I know that Justin Trudeau is a respecter of democracy because he said he's protecting us from threats against democracy. And
There you go.
always
Is
trust
that
the person
ironic, or
that's
is just
respected.
like
I
just makes
agree.
sense?
By the way, Doodle Squatch, I agree.
Why is that ironic, or is just like go
Don't you
with
think?
the...
Is,
On one
is
end.
that the chorus Alanis missed was the one about fascism being ironic? You know,
And I want to
Yeah,
just
but
say,
we would want to respect the rule, no?
we know he's protecting us from democracy because he's warning about people who are using their vote democratically.
So
And
you
up
anyway,
for
think
that.
so I
that
disagree with you because Paul's a fucking Mary Sue, and that's the problem. Paul is the ultimate Mary Sue. He's
Yeah.
really Mary Sue-ish.
Well,
That's
like
the problem.
to be honest, I don't think like. Sorry, Justin, go ahead.
Okay, you can write a Mary Sue, just do it intentionally, right? Like Buffy was a Mary Sue,
Yes.
but a good character. Paul, Mary Sue, but a good character. A good Mary Sue is good. A bad Mary Sue is bad.
Wow, that is a
Phil, you got
deep
something to add to that?
philosophical argument, sir.
Like I was just saying, like nobody cares about a good Mary Sue. When that is the purpose of the story, it makes sense. When it's not the purpose of the story, it's bad writing.
Phil, you got something to add to that?
does Paul have any flaws? I don't know.
Yes.
Probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course
Cares
does.
too much.
He cares too
But
much.
No, but he
Yeah, sometimes I
village
work
idol.
too hard.
he got a lot of fear and anguish, and he fails at some point. Like he's trying to avoid
Yeah.
this jihad. You know,
He's
even
always
thinking
worried about
turning
doing the wrong
bad.
thing.
He's kind of
Sorry.
like super
Sorry for
powerful
talking
though.
over you.
But I don't
Yes,
agree. There's a
Flamingo,
major...
I agree with you by that. I agree with you 100% on that. That's what makes it a good story.
Yeah,
It's
but
exactly
I
what
wouldn't
makes it a
call
good story.
Paul a Mary Sue, because to be a Mary Sue, it has to be like kind of unjustified, right? You're just good because you're there and
Yeah.
you're the daughter of
Okay,
self-insert,
it's
right?
exaggeration. We don't need to
Yeah.
surgically dissect Mary Sueism to say that it's an exaggeration to say Paul's a Mary Sue, but he is
I
Yeah.
wanna
he has
dissect
Mary Sue like
just
qualities.
a little bit.
Well,
Understand.
yes, but the point is like it's justifying the story because of like is the result of genetic engineering, and he's got all those amazing
breeding
mentor and
Isn't,
teacher.
isn't
and
being a Mary Sue also mean that you don't grow as a character? You're already like pinnacle, and you just like
Yeah.
stay.
which is also not the
Yes,
case of Paul.
Exactly. Paul has Mary Sue like qualities.
I
He
agree
is
with
not
that.
a full Mary Sue.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel better now,
Because-
Mr. Max? I didn't talk
Yeah.
full shit about your hero.
Yeah,
But it's those
The
little
charismatic
details.
dictator, the
It's those
charismatic
little
dictator of
details that make it
space.
good.
Is that what
Exactly.
The only
that's what I aspire to
You,
be when I
you
grow up.
know, by the way, 100% in the Warhammer universe, you are straight up the Empire's ass. You know that, Mr. Boyle. You know that.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
You're trying to get into the Inquisition. You're that far up the Empire's
The
ass.
only problem I
need
have
to-
with
you
You need to root out
Paul
heretics.
the only problem I have with Paul Atreides is his mustache.
His
It's
mustache?
both non-existent and too long. It should be exactly too
Harsh.
big.
I got nothing for that.
Come
I
on,
don't
now you're
get it.
breaking you're going close to the line now, Justin.
Hey man, I saw
Oh,
you
I
guys
see.
having so much fun with it. Just go ahead.
Anyway, Children of Dune's my favorite
Of course, that's what you're talking about. When I don't know, I need to.
Remember the
It's
rule.
fine being perfect.
It's
I
the,
can relate
it's
to
the
that. Maybe that's
unwritten
why I
rule.
like
If
him
you
so
don't
much.
know what Justin's saying,
All things I
then
say
you know what to
are-
say.
So charismatic leader, they're important. We need them. We need them more than ever.
Well, we need charismatic leaders that actually care
True.
about their own
Charismatic
people.
leaders, we're the best. Everyone else sucks. We know losers. Walk in the room, loser.
Well, the problem is, like, people thought he would be a change of a government that hates its own people and does everything for blank, but he just turned out to be the exact same fucking thing. So
Shaddam the Fourth. He's a loser. Everybody knows it. It's the way it is.
Can you imagine if they did Paul Atreides like talk like that? That would be funny.
I would pay
sleeper
someone
Has
like
awakened.
50 cents Canadian.
Somebody needs to do like a. If somebody watched that online, do a fucking like edit of like the Denis Villeneuve movie. Just like pick some clip where like Paul Atreides is talking and dub
I
it
don't
in
care
the
what
voice of
I don't
Shaddam.
care what version of Dune you use. Just do the whole fucking movie with that like cut over. I will pay you at least 50 cents Canadian, so that's like half an American penny.
Yeah. Slow blade penetrates the shield. Everyone knows.
My blade was the slowest.
I had the slowest. All the Fremen knew. They all said your blade the slowest.
But you got to do the whole film. So
Ask any Fremen, they'll tell you. Great guy.
It should be like one of those.
Fremen loves me.
What are those fucking movie things you like, Bear? The
Rip Tracks.
Mystery,
Rip tracks.
science, theater.
Rip Tracks.
Rip
Yes,
tracks.
Rip Tracks pizza.
Yeah, but it gotta be the whole movie.
I met the Baron. Big guy, fat, huge, floats. Very interesting. Not a bright guy. I'm just saying. Not sending the Harkonnens. Not sending their best here. What we're gonna do? We're gonna build a wall around Arakeen. It's gonna be a big wall, beautiful wall, shield wall.
It of course will attract the worms. I can't do the accent, but it of course will attract the worms. But we're okay with that.
We're gonna have.
There'll be
more
a door.
worms.
There'll be a big door.
God will not have seen as much worm sign as I will bring.
Man,
There'll
somebody
be a
needs to
big-
do that. Like
big,
that's fucking
beautiful
comedy
door.
gold. Seriously.
For the spice to flow.
Somebody less lazy than
Spice.
us.
The spice, it flows. You know that. I bring the spice.
To
I
the
bring the
door.
best spice. Everyone knows my spice flows the best. Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Here's your charismatic leader. Eat that.
Nailed it.
I love it. I'm still for it.
I watched the movie 10 times. I give it 15 stars up.
Bear, it's your next backer kit.
Easy.
Trump Dune. It's not called Dune. It's just Trump. You know, but it's in the desert.
No. It's the Trump tracks, right? And
There we go.
You can put like the.
I don't know.
$50
They drink it. Water of life. Dead worms. I don't know. Maybe. I heard it's good.
$50.
They all told me,
pledge
don't drink the
for-
water.
for-
But I drank the water.
They said, don't drink the water. I drank the water. I see through time.
Yeah, you have.
They all die. All those are tribe.
Fighters, may they live long. They got a name for me. They call me Muad'Dib. It's a good name. The warrior's name.
No, they call me the Prince of Muad'Dib because he's the Prince of it.
Nice. Zul.
Oh, blank.
Gonna build a great casino in Arakeen. It's gonna be huge, biggest casino you've ever seen. Emperor
right.
Carino, he's out of touch. He's a sleepy guy. I see him on the throne. He's passing out. Can't rule. Can't. The land's red. It's corrupt. They got to start paying their way. Caledon's not paying for them anymore. I told the guild navigators. I called them. I said, "This is it. Lower the price, or we're not giving you any spice." The price came down.
Oh,
I'm so tired. I can't believe I'm fucking doing this.
this is the best ever, man.
Jesus Christ.
So
It's been a long
we talk
weekend.
about something gaming now. It's just like that's
Sleeping
Have you ever seen those videos where they don't get me started on the Spacing Guild. Those guys, they live in tanks. They look like fish. What's that about?
With the mouse.
Little hands. Me, big hands. But biggest hands. Ask any Fremen, they'll tell you. But so there's a channel I saw on YouTube where they had presidents play, and they have like they use AI voice stuff. They have Ben Shapiro as the DM, and it's
I
Trump,
saw what
Biden.
Joe Rogan at the.
No, they did the one with Joe Rogan, but they have usually it's Ben Shapiro and they have Trump, Biden, and Obama playing, right?
Oh,
So
I
someone
see.
said what I should do is I should go write a script and get that because you can get that software easily and take wrestlers like Hogan and Jesse Ventura and all that and have them play D&D together.
Oh man, you're gonna fucking give an orgasm to the bro SR.
Oh, they'll be like,
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you create another channel, do it anonymously, and you'll get millions of views, and then you won't have to have backer kits anymore. You'll
so
be a
whore myself for money. Is that what you're saying? I like whoring myself the way I do it now, sir, for free.
Oh.
I'm
What
the
do you all
best
do on
one.
your
Everybody
secret
knows
channel?
it.
No, none of you have a secret channel.
No.
Secret channel?
Yeah.
No.
Secret
Well,
channel when you do like
I do,
weird
but I'm
stuff
not allowed
that's
to
not
talk
very-
about it on this.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Send me the
Oh.
link though, privately.
No, I don't got anything on there. It's just
Yeah.
it's
All right.
just an existing channel.
Yeah. Well, everybody knows I also got a training channel, which I'm not
Yeah,
doing
it's
much
really
with
awesome.
now,
Yeah.
but
You
maybe
should
something
just-
coming up in the future.
You should just rename it to like MrMax in French.
To what?
Just recreate all your English content in French and put
Oh.
it on that channel.
No,
Find a French Justin, a French Bear, a French.
Do you have a French channel?
I do have a French
Oh,
channel.
do we all have to be French in this one? Okay, I can play myself, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
I do have a
I'll
French
to,
channel.
What's
I do
your French channel?
I do Bible reading.
Oh, actually,
Really?
that's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So if you
I
want to
jerk
read
this
hear the
too fast.
Bible in French, I can send you the
Learn
links.
French with Mr. Max.
It's just like the daily Catholic reading, right? Just like
Oh.
Is that like something that gets determined somewhere, or do you get to pick whatever you want?
it's determined somewhere.
Yeah.
We have
It's
like
determined.
a liturgical calendar.
Oh fuck, we're on this. All right, I'm gonna get a cup of coffee. I'll be back.
It's
Well, I think we're
determined.
No. Talk.
Coffee.
Get your little Christiany, Catholicly heart out and talk about your liturgical calendar and your Lent and your fucking Lint
Talk
chocolate
about-
balls. I do not
It's a new
care.
thing I'm
Ooh,
doing,
Lint
right?
chocolate balls.
Oh,
Shut
it's after Lent.
chocolate balls. But I'm actually gonna go get a cup of coffee. I'll be right back.
You gave up
Yep.
Lint chocolate balls for Lent?
Well, I don't really eat them. They're too sweet for me. Only eat like the 90% stuff.
I thought they were perfect for you. You like to put two in your mouth.
Nope. No.
So what are you drinking? Your wild turkey.
I'm drinking wild turkey, but that just like the regular
This is
one.
the last bottle.
No, that's
on
the
Earth.
regular one. The 40% alcohol, like 81 proof. The 101 proof is upstairs.
Yeah,
I keep it when I'm
Woodford
with somebody special.
Reserve.
yeah.
Am I backwards? Yes, I'm backwards. Why am I backwards?
Backwards.
Hey, hello, Angar. Oh, should I put the? You know what? Been a while since I did that. Let me fucking put the link in the chat. Why not? If you have like some randos, I need to know you.
Yeah, we
because I'm
don't.
the shadow. Right?
Mr. Max is not a gay porn producer.
Exactly.
Yet.
But I put the link in the chat. If people want to join us, you're welcome.
Get in here, hold on.
And yeah, and
So let's
read
talk.
read the rules in the description
Oh,
box.
yeah, read the rules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Angar, I hope you wrote the rule. You read the
I didn't read anything.
rule.
I ain't
Don't-
reading.
Don't start drama. Don't talk about
I
my
know the
favorite
rules
topic.
for Max's.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
uh,
trash
Hey,
talking
Hungar,
about
how you
Edward
doing?
here.
Good. How you guys
And,
doing? I just
no
want
talk
to
about
jump in
what
and say hey to Max. I haven't seen him for forever.
Yeah.
Well, I've
Hey,
seen
man,
him. I
good
haven't
to meet you.
talked to him because he's too good to join my live stream.
I'm not too
Yeah.
good. I'm trying to focus on writing, and I got stuff going on in my life, right? So,
Yeah.
you know,
He's found perfection in Nirvana and doesn't like it.
no,
Nicholas,
too perfect is a problem. Yeah, yeah.
we're
Nicholas.
talking about Shadow. He had a full frontal a month or so ago of a dude on his live stream.
pulling on it.
Yeah. Somebody just came from the chat, turned on his camera, was jacking off. You know?
Dong.
The risk of the media, of the medium.
He was a svelte individual,
Well, that's
completely hairless. It was kind of
Mhm.
glisteningly disgusting.
good. Glisteningly disgusting is how you describe that.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I can still fucking visualize it, man.
Yeah, I'm sure you still are.
I suspect it was Angar. We have no-
Songs
I
are.
doubt it was.
No, the guy had
Oh
more
yeah,
of a-
giggity giggity.
You described Hungar to a T.
the guy had more of a Latin bent to his complexion, but
Hey,
Oh,
you
so
don't
maybe-
know how I
maybe-
look from like here
Yeah.
down, dude.
I imagine it's hairy or hairless and glistening.
That's
Yeah,
right.
just
I'm
disgustingly
hairless and
glistening.
glistening.
I deliberately choose
Oh,
the
look at
words
that.
to be comedic.
Time to class up the place. You have
Hey.
young
Hey, whoa!
Young Steve.
I was wondering
How
if
we
you
doing?
got man.
young Steve Buscemi. How
How
you
you
doing,
doing,
man?
man?
We're just like
Yeah.
fucking making shit, like talking shit now. I guess we didn't like start any topic right now.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the
Yeah,
videos
Fraser
you
sent
guys
the
have
link.
been putting out on Black Lodge, man, fucking spectacular, dude.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
We got another video coming out tomorrow.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
haven't been around
the
for a while.
podcast, right?
Yeah, they've been really, really good, man. It's like
Thank you.
at first I thought you guys were a couple of jokers. The first two videos I saw of you guys, I was telling Justin, I was like, man, I don't know what I think about these guys. And then I went on one of your streams and just sat and watched the whole thing. And I was like, these dudes are based as hell.
Yes, we endeavor to be.
Yes.
And
Okay,
I was
I
like, I like these guys. And I like instantly subscribed to you guys.
Yeah.
Thank
if
you,
you're not, and they're like the Thursday night papist hangout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, saving Christendom. You know, one stream at a time,
Thank
uniting East and West.
And I just like embody freaking chaos 3 streams a week.
Well, I love you're in James Hangouts.
Yeah. I just got done playing Warhammer Fantasy role playing with my
Hell
brother.
yeah, man.
There you
We
go. We
just
got like a
finished- I mean,
question
we
from Nicholas
finished the game.
All right, hang
No
on, hang
more
on.
Ring of Fire. I still
got
love
something.
Ring of Fire.
I got something
Um,
to say.
Uh-huh.
Hang on,
Yeah.
guys. Hold those
Thought that
thoughts. I
was
got
good.
something to say.
Did you get $2,000?
You found it?
Thad Rutha, bad guy, bad hombre. I heard all about him. Came to the planet, said, I will kill you. I said, okay, let's do it. Borrowed a knife off a guy, bent him in half, died like a dog. Little bitch.
I don't know if you're watching, young
Sorry.
Steve. Nick.
It was in my head while we were talking.
Like before you came in, we are like doing like, what if Paul Atreides was Trump, right? Just like,
Oh yeah, he's not though.
No.
well, it's an whole thing about charismatic leader, right? Just like
Yeah, I didn't
No.
check out the stream before jumping.
Sorry
in,
about
but
that. I just had to
Oh,
get that
yeah.
out of my system before my brain.
gotta
That,
do
that
it.
was brilliant, bro.
yeah, but like now I'm convinced somebody needs to do that.
He
Somebody
died
needs to take
like a
clip of the
dog.
movie and redub it with Trump voice.
Yeah, and sings.
I still haven't seen the part 2 yet.
Me
I
neither.
will
Yeah,
do.
we'll talk about that. Yeah. I haven't
I
seen
think
it.
I
Like,
have,
I've seen part 1.
I'll,
of the
I'll wait
Doom
until
Hunter.
it's on Bear's Plex.
Nice.
I'll probably
I
give it
can't
a half
renew my
star.
subscription. You can start paying.
Nice.
So
What
sorry,
are you
Nick, you were
talking
saying about
Mr. Money
the
Man with all the crowdfunding?
I'm sorry, what?
And then
Oh,
what
yeah.
are you talking about, Mr. Money Man, with all the funding?
Oh yeah, yeah, because that's all money in my pocket, right?
Hey, I've sold 4 copies of my Morkborg variant character sheets.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
how much? $1 each?
Well, I don't know, like $12, something like that.
Oh, nice.
Damn.
So Nick, you were saying about the Within the Ring of Fire. Sorry, we.
Well, no,
interrupted you.
someone asked a question. I'm not sure what they meant by no more Ring of Fire. I still love Ring of Fire, although I heard from
You're
Fraser
feeling better
that,
now. The
that you,
swelling, the swelling
yeah,
went
yeah,
down.
yeah, I'm sitting on an O-ring.
Donut.
Yeah,
An
donut.
O-ring of fire. Oh Jesus, that's what blew up the space shuttle.
What happened?
I heard you threw. You wanted to throw the saga book right across the room, like 2 pages.
To be honest,
in.
yes, I bought it like
Oh, 'cause
that's
the
why
vernacular,
that
yeah.
fucking that Ginger Fraser fucking threw me over. He said like, oh, X-Files is great and it holds up. I fucking went to watch it, unwatchable for me. I don't know, just like, and now
Yeah.
like Within the Ring of Fire, the reason like I was getting so upset with the book is like the way the book is written. Like that's a book like I don't even know the system yet. Like I couldn't fucking get through it. That's a book that's so much need of fucking editing. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
the
Well,
way
there's
that
one,
the way that the guy wrote the book, like it's fucking insane, man.
well, yeah, it's very much in keeping. What you read in that book is an accurate description of the man, for better or for
Yeah,
worse.
and if Woodward want to come on here at some point and defend his fucking insanity, he's welcome. So Woodward, that's an open like invitation to you.
I'll pass
if
the message
you can
along.
you can check out his channel as well. His channel is Woodward.
Yeah, I'll give him a call tomorrow.
All right. Oh, you so you're that close to him?
Oh
He's
yeah.
been on- he's
Before
been
I
on your
moved,
show.
before I moved to Texas, I was living in Virginia, about an hour away from him. So I was in his weekly gaming group.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Who's good?
But like
Woodward?
which Andrew Wood. Andrew Wood is his name.
Underwood is.
And he wrote the game Within the Ring of Fire, which can be found on Drive-Thru RPG.
Yes, it can.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's a fine game. The problem I have with it is really in the writing. Like it drives me mad that he called PCs catalyst and
GMs are
embers.
flame tenders and
Ember.
NPCs are embers.
and
yeah.
exactly the GM is the flame tender. And
Mhm.
you start like you try to read the book and it's like and like the campaign is a saga, and then there's
Right.
like extra and star and like and you read the book and you're just like, why use so much like occult language, right? I get you want to put a flavor. You're just putting Erdl. All I have to do now is every time I read this fucking term, I read catalyst, I have to do like the replace in my mind. Okay, he's talking about PCs, right?
Yeah.
So you're just adding me extra work. You're just putting like Erdl and me reading your fucking book.
Yeah, it's a level of dissidence.
Yeah.
And
when
also
the
like
time,
the days are cycle and shit like that, which
well,
like,
the
that
cycles
I
make
get a little more.
the
Yeah, I get-
cycles
I
make
get it a little more.
sense
Yeah.
because
Like an alien
of
world
the
thing.
world.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
a year is 77 days because there's 77 divinities, gods, essentially. It's an interesting concept. There's a lot of interesting concepts that don't actually jar or jive, I should say, well together. And he definitely needed an editor. He needed a couple people under him. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
So when you throw the setting out, is the system good?
Is the system good? It's hard
Yeah.
to tell.
I mean, it's no, I wouldn't use it outside of the setting, and the system itself is incomplete. You have to intuit what he means, because there actually isn't a and I don't know if anybody on stream or in the chat remembers David Daniel Ducker. He was sort of a latecomer to the YouTube RPG brigade when it was still a thing, and he rightly recognized immediately there's no breakdown or explanation as to what numerical value is a success, either an easy success or a hard success. You don't know, and you just sort of have to intuit, well, if I'm rolling 2d8s, what sort of makes sense? And he was definitely taking a lot of inspiration from D&D, but sort of converting it over into this other system that he created. But there's a ton of holes, and I don't think, if you weren't watching his channel in that moment when he was really active, and there was that
designing it on
that big community of like immersive, an attempt for immersive role play, no one would know about this game at all. It really was sort of like a product of a moment in time, I think.
And the other thing also, like he started the book basically giving like GM advice, right? Which I find is a bit weird. And then you go to character creation, and you haven't fucking told me how your basic system work, and that's something that fucking drives me mad. You can get away with it if you do like a D&D clone or something that exists already, because like people coming out, like they play D&D before, they have assumption, but now you're doing your own system. Tell me what it is from the get-go, so I can when you explain something, I can visualize it in my mind how it would play, right? Because I have an idea of the basic mechanic.
Yeah.
If you go to Yangar.
I'm gonna pop off and go to sleep. I just wanted to come on and say hi to everybody.
Well, thank you for
Just
the
had-
invite.
I-
Good
don't
being
mind.
on the stream with you for the first time, Ungar.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
I just had a
yeah.
really good game with my
Big fan of
brother.
yours.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I hope you're
we
feeling
chat
well.
a bunch
Warmer
of
game
Haven.
tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see you tomorrow at noon, Hungar.
See you tomorrow at noon.
Oh, are you doing a noon show tomorrow?
Yeah, Monday,
Monday?
Wednesday, and Friday, and then Thursdays 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, if I don't take a nap, I'll come to your show tomorrow. But otherwise, I'll be
You know
napping.
you'll be at my show tomorrow.
Don't push it.
We're talking about heroic.
No, you're not.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Peace,
We're gonna
love,
pretend like
chicken
Take care,
wings.
man.
Good to see all you guys. And
Have a good night.
Max,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
miss you
sorry.
on my show, bro.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe one day I'll come back, but I have to. I've scaled down a lot of my presence on YouTube. If you haven't noticed,
I've noticed mostly on my show.
on all
Ow.
everybody's show. Take care, Angar. Good seeing you, man.
Later,
Oh
guys.
yeah, man. So
Doc
on a
Flamingo
side-
asks, "Is the RPG Brigade gone?" It's a good. Most of them woke to it, and I think actually that's the wokeness is what killed the RPG Brigade. They hate them.
Yeah.
They hate themselves.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's what
Very
I
much
found.
so.
So
Yeah.
this is the thing we're learning worldwide right now, right? In all levels of entertainment. Everybody drank the fucking Kool-Aid just around 2016, 2017, and now everybody's losing shit tons of money. And they're just fucking backpedaling and stepping back and stepping back and stepping back, right? But certain parts of the entertainment world haven't quite got the fucking message yet.
Yeah.
WotC, fucking games.
The ones that are
Workshop.
being funded.
Sorry?
The ones that are being funded.
Yeah, the ones who are being
Yeah,
basically
subsidized.
that have managed to tap into the only money available in the woke market, because most of the woke market doesn't have cash, right? So they want something changed, but then they're not going to put fucking money into it.
Getting that BlackRock money.
That's
BlackRock.
BlackRock's dropping its
BlackRock.
money hard.
Vanguard. Yeah.
I'm,
Hey,
I'm
So
Yeah.
so you go.
Hey, Nick, are you going to do a video on Vampire next? So I'm looking forward to that series, sir.
that is the next video that is going to go up
Yeah.
tomorrow.
So the
Oh, there you
Savant.
go.
It's not a review of any of the or like an analysis of any of the books. This is getting back to form, showing everybody how everyone else is wrong.
I love that.
Fraser and I are right,
Yeah.
and this is how you need to look at Vampire. You've been doing it wrong. The designers have been doing it wrong.
Good,
But this will
stupid
save you. This will save your
designers.
game.
Did
Yeah.
you guys shit on Werewolf yet, or in a video?
We haven't yet.
Okay.
I was never really
sure I missed
into Werewolf. I do have the 5th edition of Werewolf. I really hate it, although I
Me
will
too.
say I don't hate it as much as I thought, because I thought it would be completely compromised by
I was really hoping they do like something really badass with Rage, like they did with the Hunger
the
mechanic.
Hunger Die. And that
Yeah.
that is what they do.
But it's like
but I just-
backwards.
It's just not it's
wrong.
it's backwards and it's not interesting.
I agree with that too.
It's just boring. I would say it actually isn't nearly as woke. Because that was a property
Wait,
that was
the-
primed for wokeness.
The
Yeah.
Werewolf.
Werewolf the Apocalypse, 5th edition.
They did the Apocalypse. The 20th edition is kind of woke.
I haven't read the 20th edition. Like I said, I was never really into Werewolf, but because the new White Wolf has released in 2018, the 5th edition of
Yeah.
Vampire the Masquerade. I think last year, maybe, they
Yeah.
came out with Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Is it called the Apocalypse? I thought they changed the name.
So there's Werewolf the Apocalypse by White Wolf. That's part of Old World of Darkness, and then part of New World of Darkness or Chronicles of Darkness with Onyx Path. It's Werewolf the shit. I don't
Forsaken.
remember. It's Werewolf the Forsaken. Yeah.
That's a fucking nightmare. Like fucking branding, man. Just like you fucking
Yeah,
want
it's
to figure,
like-
like people on
Well,
stroke.
the
25 years
Chronicles
of
are
shit.
defunct now, so
Okay.
you don't have to
Been a
worry about
time.
2 sets.
So the one with the one with the like kind of 5th edition, right? With the Hunger dies or the
Yeah.
Rage dies, right? Okay.
Yes,
Did you like Forsaken more? Like you liked Requiem more?
I don't know anything about Werewolf.
I'll stop asking you about Werewolf.
Forsaken, but so
was there
you're-
a game that was linked with Vampire that was linked with Ars Magica? I don't remember that. They had their Meiji Ascension kind of shit, right?
well,
You
What's
know,
there a
I don't think
connection
there's an
between Mage the
explicit-
Ascension and Ars Magica?
They're different
I
games,
think
different
so. Well,
systems,
there has to be
different
because
settings.
there's a house Tremere and there's a clan
Yeah.
Tremere.
Yeah.
But Ars Magica was made by a different company, so I actually
Yeah.
don't know what the
It's pronounced
connection is.
Tremere, you know?
Loosely veiled. So I was going to ask Bear.
What?
You just put a poll up on your backer
Yep.
kit. Would you like to like? I don't get it. What's the color
So-
pod?
So
would you like to
POD,
talk
print
about
on
this?
demand, print on
Yes.
demand. So
Yes,
basically,
yes,
people
yes.
are asking me if they've to put on a standard color, hardcover, and softcover print on demand because as add-ons, because there's only the premium, and so I'm going to leave it to people to see what they want.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'm going to say yes on that, and we have a mention of it in the stream since we are supposed to be talking about your product.
Oh
here.
God, no! Please, can we not talk about my fucking backer kit?
We're
'Cause I've been
supposed to
talking
be-
about it for 2 or 3 days.
What?
Yeah, shill your stuff. Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
shilled it.
yeah.
we
Trust
need
me.
shout-outs.
I've
can
been
we do
poured-
the
I've
thing
been-
where we
I've been a
talk about
dirty,
what
dirty whore.
superhero we'd be?
No. What
Okay.
super you would be?
Well, it's a
You-
superhero game,
Mr.
so yeah.
Boivin would be a villain. First of all, Max would be a villain, and
There
he'd
you
be
go.
called the charismatic leader. That would be his name.
The charismatic leader,
Ah,
yeah,
nice.
exactly. Yeah.
What
So
would Trump
13,
sound like as
190.
a French Canadian? I don't know. That'd be crazy.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, you're
I don't
doing
think it
you're using like the Marvel
Yeah, it's an update
It's
of
role-playing game,
it's
right?
the
That's
update of the
basic.
Marvel superheroes role playing game. Yeah,
Nice.
it's a modernization of it.
I'm actually prepping to run a Supers game myself in a couple weeks.
Using
So
what?
you got some femboy there.
Prowler
Oh,
is not showing
Len-
up.
Len is a
Prowler's
very
powering
good. Len is a very good friend of mine, and he's very proud of that game, and it's a great game. So I'll let him know. He'll be very happy to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see a version of that character with longer hair, maybe like a pulled back into a ponytail.
So
Lady
the-
A,
her
play
right
City of
there.
Heroes
Yeah.
with me. You'll see her with her ponytail.
Yeah,
Yeah, in City of Heroes, I milled her with a ponytail because
Oh hell
there you
yeah! I'm setting my game in the City of Heroes universe. I love that
Oh,
game.
nice.
I played hours, countless hours. I've
Yeah.
squandered massive amounts of productive years.
that IP is locked away in some Korean company pisses me off to no end because Arachnos may be the greatest
They're so
villain
fucking cool.
organization ever fucking created for superheroes.
Well, they just got the blessing from NCSoft
Yep.
for the Homecoming server. I was playing it like 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, I love that fucking thing, man. But I would love for some role playing supplements for I don't care, fuck mutants and masterminds, whatever you want to make it for that fucking world.
Literally anything. 'Cause
anything.
The setting is so good. It's so good. So
Good.
we're doing villains.
Yeah,
This
guy over here would be Lord. He'd be trying to
Lord
take out
Recluse.
Lord
Yeah.
Recluse.
What's
So
the
Crafting
beyond
Gamer
that?
asks, why does Mr. Max look like he's on stage at a strip club? If you stick
Oh.
around for the after show, you know.
bow, chicka, chicka, bow, bow. It's when Shadow
Welcome
walks
to
into
the
the room.
stage. Next on stage, Mr. Max.
It's when Shadow walks into the room with a camcorder from like 1992.
I had to do
Doodle
that,
Squatch,
Max. At one strip club I bounced at, I had to also announce the girls. So I was at the door taking things, but I had to announce the girls. Jesus Christ, I hated that fucking job. Ugh.
Doodle Squatch ask you, Bear, was Backer Kit worth it? Has it won you over?
Abso-fucking-lutely. They are amazing. The support they give you alone is worth it. Like if they put me as the featured thing on their page for like 24 hours. So when I go look at my stats, there's this big green bar of backers I got just because I was on the front page. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Cool.
And they work with you every step of the way. They help you out. They're they're really amazing. Like Kickstarter basically pretends like you don't exist because you're not going to make them $1 million. So they don't care about you.
Yeah.
You're just this thing that they can pay the light bill with or something. Whereas
Interesting.
Backer Kit's mentality is very much, hey, we're working with you. We got a person that we're going to assign to you. They're going to be your worker, and they email you and they help you get ready for the launch. And they give you all these tips and tricks, and they provide you with documentation on how to set things up. And then they review your page and they come back with suggestions. And then not just you should do this, but you should do this. And here, look at this guy's successful Backer Kit that did this and how he did it. And like stuff like that. They really, really work with you. They're amazing. Very happy with them.
Cool. Hey, Nick, what server are you on City Heroes? If you don't mind my asking.
I was on Pinnacle, the drunk server. I'm on Everlasting. I don't have any
nice.
loyalty to it because I don't know anybody who plays. So if there's a group of people who are running task forces and more importantly getting badges, the only thing worth doing.
Check out
Um,
Torchbearer. We have a group over there, and there's a couple
I
of
will
guys
do
in it
so.
who do that stuff.
Hell yeah. And I'm backing your shit right now, man.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's very kind of you.
Space Roadie ask, define how one modernize a TTRPG.
You basically take old. So remember, when we deal with OSR games and we deal with a lot of stuff, there's game design concepts that have come out since the 80s that are really good ideas, and you go, "Hey, this is really neat." Well, Marvel Superheroes is a great game. I love it. It's my favorite game. But there were bumps and bruises and warts on it. And once you get rid of those warts and you find other ways to do the stuff, the wart becomes less noticeable. It becomes a freckle, and then the game plays smoother and more fun. So that's how you modernize it from my point of view. Anyway.
Just another guy. I don't know that name. Like, he's in the back room there. I don't know that name, and I don't see your camera.
What's his
so I
name?
cannot add
What's his
you in.
name?
Just another guy.
Don't know him.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's
I-
another.
I-
that's
I
a
will-
euphemism for penis.
I will give you the advice that I gave Shadow. Don't let this guy in.
Let him in. We'll see his dick. It'll be small. We'll laugh. He's a loser. What are we going to do? Come on.
The question
Yeah,
is,
no, I
he-
cannot
If
like-
you wanted to,
cannot win
if you wanted to
it's not a
reduce
game-
your
it's not a-
presence on YouTube, Max, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. No, well, that would do it. Eh? But yeah, no, that's not a name I know, and I cannot see your
Get 'em
camera,
out.
so like I cannot see your safe, right? So
Cannot see your
sorry,
camera.
man, can't help you.
No one's backed this the opportunity to get a custom character in the book.
Are
yet.
you kidding? 22 fucking people have backed that.
Oh, it says 0 purchase here.
On which one? On the front for the
Heroic or villainous redux.
Oh no, that's the new one. We had to change it. So what happened? Okay, so what happened is we have one consistent artist for the whole project. His name's Oliver. He's a great artist, great guy, really good artist. Sorry, I got to stop doing Trump.
No,
but
it's funny.
I want consistent art throughout the book. I don't want a bunch of different art because that always drives me nuts when you look.
100% correct.
So
That
we
is
were
the way
using
to
him.
go.
We put in a level where you could back the book and get one character made by him, and then there was an add-on where other people could buy one if they didn't buy at that level. We figured, okay, we'll get 10 people. We had 22. We're like, okay, we need to change this because Oliver won't have time to do the art in the book.
Ah, I see.
So we created a new tier where we got new artists coming in who are just as good as Oliver that are coming in just for this project to do this level of stuff with us. So that's
Got it.
So it
Just
just
another
went
guy
live
in the
today.
private chat Among Us. Like that doesn't help me.
I did try.
Among Us. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
That
I did
doesn't
try to
help
warn
me.
you about that, Bear.
I'm sorry, what?
I did try
Yeah,
to warn you.
okay,
about that.
Justin. Yes, you win.
Yeah.
You-
Well, I'm
you want a
just gonna-
fucking cookie? I'll come to Toronto and buy you some donuts. Boston creams, just for you.
Woohoo! I've been trying to wear him down on that.
Do you guys still have Robin's donuts up there? Or did they not
Uh,
survive?
I believe Nick's in Texas now, right?
Oh, me? I do not know. I haven't seen a Robin's Donuts. Possibly. I haven't been in Texas long enough to get the to become fully
There's like
what's the word?
there's a big one in Round Rock that has. There's a big one in Round Rock. I can't remember what it's called. I'm sorry.
A donut place?
Yeah, they have like these giant donuts that are the size of like a birthday cake, like a sheet cake. Kind of crazy.
Damn. That's a lot.
And that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
Have you been to
Donuts are
Voodoo Donuts? I think that's there on there too.
I haven't been there, but I've had Voodoo Donuts. But they're in a number of different locations, aren't
Yeah,
they?
it's like a
They're
chain,
franchised
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm just looking for good New York style pizza and good like hoagies, which I haven't found yet.
I'm
That's
still
what I
waiting. I'm still waiting for you guys to get that Jane Austen game started up, so I can.
Any day now.
I think it's literally called Round Rock Donuts.
I'm
The
waiting.
other place is called the pizza place that I used to go to a lot was called Rockin' Tomato.
Oh yeah, it's true. Like the bottom row is like that's the Canadian row up there, and the Texas row button.
Rocket tomato.
Oh, make sure you go to Burger Tex also if you want a
All right.
Korean burger.
Oh,
experience.
Rockin' Tomato permanently closed.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
Must have been a casualty of the of
Coof.
2020. Yep.
yeah. Definitely go to Burger Tex and get the bulgogi burger.
Burger Tex.
And don't dare them to make it
Bulgogi
spicy.
burger.
Yeah.
I want burger.
Well, that is still open, so
Oh, they
I
sell
will
those
check
too.
that out.
It's fucking good.
So if I were like like in the superhero setting, what I want to be like, I want to be like kind of like a Christian
This is
werewolf, like a religious werewolf.
Yeah.
You
Just
could
be
do that.
saying,
That'd actually be a
be
really
saying
fucking
Lucifer.
interesting character.
Yeah.
That could be a really interesting character.
You could
Saint Saint-Lou. Saint-Lou.
Saint Lou.
you
Saint
could have
Lou.
you could have a team of Christian superheroes, one from each denomination. So they're always infighting with each other.
Think about this, Max. Think about this.
So,
He's a Christian werewolf who wears a silver cross to keep himself from turning, right?
Oh,
He
yeah.
wears the silver
then just,
cross
like,
to
rip it
prevent
off.
him from turning. But when shit hits the fan, it's like, forgive me, Father, for I'm about to sin.
Yeah.
And then he goes full fucking wolf. That'd be a great
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
you have a Christian superhero team that's like a bunch from different denominations, and most of the campaign they're just like infighting with each other. Then occasionally they go after like some cultists, but they turn out to be some like high school students.
I think Justin heard this, Max. Did I ever tell you my idea for the Canadian supergroup? For like this, like the Justice League of Canada idea?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
So
No,
basically,
not
the
me.
Canadian government, of course, gets involved and says, we're going to make a superhero team.
Oh, yeah,
Every province gets to put one guy in. And Quebec goes, hey, fuck that. We are distinct Quebec there. We got the two. We got the English, the French. We're going to have 2 hero. They go, fine, Quebec can have 2. And then Ontario goes, okay, well, then we deserve 2 because we're the biggest province in the country and we make all, fine, you can have them 2. And then later, Saskatchewan gets busted because they had no superheroes. So they paid an American to come up and pretend to be from Saskatchewan. So they get busted and it's all causing all this drama. Now, for the Americans, this is boring. For the Canadians, this is exactly how it would fucking play out in our country, like 100%.
And
Canada, you so
along.
crazy.
and they
We
would be
are.
taking they'd be taking
Oh, Space Brody knows.
equalization payments. They'd have to be paying equalization payments to Quebec and Ontario.
That would be shitty.
Nothing would ever fucking get done too with that fucking team, right? It would just be like the fucking people like from BC would all want to cock block everything from Alberta, and yeah,
No, China would slide in a Chinese superhero through Vancouver.
And it's super obvious. Like the guy doesn't even speak English or French. He's just like,
Hey,
"Ching
my
chong."
name is Captain Colombia. Hey, guys, I want to be on team.
Why are you making a fucking blowjob? Stop being
But it's all like you do the comic book series, and it's just like his panels are always in Chinese.
Oh, sorry.
yeah, it would be the
There's
one
your
fucking like giving
character's
it giving the
Brother Wolf. That's what you call your
Brother
guy, man.
Wolf.
Brother
Yeah, I like a
Wolf.
Reverend Wolf as well. Reverend Wolf.
No, he can't be a reverend. Come on. Why would he be a reverend?
Brother Wolf was good. Yeah, but his text box, his speech bubbles would always be in Chinese, and then there would be like subtitles underneath.
You could be called the German Shepherd. I know.
Oh,
Here you go.
why not?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
That's really good, actually.
All right. Since Nick
Yeah,
is here and we talk about
And Justin
we
will
talk
be
about
from
Modernizing
Labrador. He'll be
Fire,
the Labradoodle.
and
Sorry,
we
what?
talk about modernizing game, right? There's a topic I want to talk about, and I think it's good for if you're up for staying for a little longer, guys. We've been
Sure.
going for a while now already. No, not that
I'll
long.
stay a bit
1 hour.
longer, but I do have
Yeah.
to go to bed. I work in the morning.
I mean, I
well.
feel like everyone else should get to say their superhero, but that's
I
cool.
work
We can-
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's
go-
get
let's
rest
do
to say
that.
their superhero. Phil, go ahead, you
Yay.
German Shepherd bad boy.
I'll go last.
Of
No,
course
I'm
you
sorry.
will.
All right,
That's
Justin,
your
what would be
superhero, I go
super hero. You just like, and keep it in the confine of
Well, the rules say I know.
Can you make a
Yeah.
supercar? Because I want a supercar.
that's what you want to be.
Yeah, I want to be like
like-
Knight Rider. That's who I'm.
Bumbo.
Oh,
Got a leather jacket and a supercar.
oh.
Nick, you got your superhero person already?
Yeah, well, I would have to be my main character from City of Heroes that I made when I was 19. He never had a clear, fully written up backstory, but the premise was the character's name was Far Sorcerer, which I would probably change now because I don't like that name. But he was an occult investigator working for the what was it in City of Heroes and Paragon City. Was it Magi?
Circle of
Yeah,
Thorns?
the government
Oh, yeah,
agency
right,
for
yeah.
magical superhero threats is investigating some sort of a anomaly. His soul got locked into some sort of gem, and he just generated over time with some additional assistance from the superhero community the ability to project an energy body. So he didn't eat, didn't sleep, but he didn't have a body anymore. But he had energy blast and what was it? Electricity manipulation. So not a lot there, but I would have to dig in and develop up that character because I spent so many hours playing that blaster.
Yeah.
Dude, energy blast.
Wasn't there a point where Superman was just turned all electric?
Yeah,
I think
red,
after
blue,
he
red,
died,
blue.
after didn't after Doomsday kill him?
No, it's
Oh,
in the
okay.
90s. They do a thing where you get split into red Superman, blue Superman, which is a callback to a 1950s Silver Age Superman.
Got
thing.
it.
No.
It was dumb.
Yeah.
Like
So
so many
Dustin,
other
go ahead.
I can't make my
us some-
character in Bear's universe because he has the same name for another character.
Which character?
Blood Knight. I told you this the
Oh,
other
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Yes.
but,
Blood Knight.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just the guy that fly with a machine gun.
Yeah, you saw that? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, so you're just like
Yeah.
shooting people in the face.
We'll find around. Well, sometimes I had to make the character twice. So sometimes I gave him a sword, sometimes he had a machine gun.
Oh, I feel dirty.
It's funny you're with a machine gun though.
Yeah,
He's
it
just like,
is.
he's just like the guy. Yeah, there's the guy like flying around.
He's like, I'm a knight. Look at my sword. Daka, daka, daka.
Oh, does he wear armor?
No. But he
No,
No,
flies.
just wears his tidy whiteies.
Where's
and,
the night
and,
part
and
come
a
in?
towel.
Just, you got a
It
gun.
makes no sense. That's the fucking
Got
thing.
it.
He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger beefy, right? So
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
he's not that smart.
Beefy.
He has a small head.
I am superhero.
We're talking about City
How could he
Heroes,
fly?
guys.
Could he just fly like hovering, or just like wing, or what?
Just like hovering flight. He had a cape.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
It was all crimson red.
So that's his only power is that he can fly, but
Yeah.
he's just like kitted out with, he's
A
like
gun.
Commando.
He has a
Yeah,
gun.
yeah. He has a gun. Yeah, I can fly.
You guys are like, oh man, I can
Waco,
fly. Let me grab a gun.
Equalizer.
I can
Grab
fly.
a
I have the
machine
right to kill
gun.
people.
Nice.
Yeah. Why not? Why would you not do that? Right? You can fly. Like that's a useful power, but with
It's
a
a very
gun.
useful power.
With a gun.
But with a gun, now it's murder.
It's like
No,
you're
it's
in a tower, but with a tower.
So
Since
go
we're
ahead,
ta-
Phil. It's your
What?
turn now.
to say my character?
Yes.
Yeah. You want to
Okay,
go last?
I
Relax.
did say the Knight Rider.
Oh no,
thing,
Bear
but
didn't go. Bear, you didn't go.
hold
Wait.
He
hold
has
it.
a whole stable of superheroes to the
Yeah,
Why would
Yeah.
you tell me to go and then interrupt me like that?
Oh, that's because he's French.
Yeah.
Go
No,
ahead, Bear.
I'm teasing you.
No,
Yes.
go ahead. I want to hear Phil's. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So my character from City Heroes was
Oh.
a force field dark
Nice.
blast defender,
Nice.
and he's like
Oh,
a
man.
magic origin. So basically, what happened is his mom. This is basically the story of Naruto, and I realized that later on. But his mom gets like the Circle of Thorns do this ritual. They put a demon in his mom.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he
they
like
do.
becomes like the chosen one, but then he busts out of there because he has actually psychic abilities.
Hell
keeps
yeah.
keeps the demon imprisoned inside of his body, just like in Naruto. I didn't realize this was the plot of Naruto, and then someone was like, "You mean like Naruto?" I'm like, "No, but he's psychic." He's like, "Yeah,
The Circle of
keeping the
Thorns were
demon
so
prison.
badass.
I agree." That
I
They were
prefer-
better with the old costumes, though.
Yeah.
yeah,
Big time.
super big hats like
What's
dark
the,
Chaos Dwarfs.
What's not it's not the Circle of Thorns. What was the Harlequins? What the fuck was that group?
Carnival of
Carnival.
Shadows.
Carnival.
Yeah,
The
the
Carnival. Carnival of
Carnival of Shadows.
Carnival shows. I like them a lot. I thought they were
They were
a great
very
group.
cool.
AKA
I fucking hate Vagilok.
Carnivals.
Oh my god, fuck! I hate Vagilok.
Oh yeah, the Vasilok, yeah.
they're great.
Oh,
But
I had
the
a big
villain for
problem with
Dr.
the Sky
Vasilok is the...
Raiders.
Oh, I love the
hated-
Sky Raiders.
I hated the Paragons.
Paragon Protectors.
Yeah, the ones that go
Right.
invincible on their last slivers.
Yeah, they're part of Cray Corp.
Oh, is that Cray?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I hate. Then.
Do you
Speaking of
understand
like-
what they're talking about, MrMax?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, there was something I wanted to talk about.
I could talk for hours about City of Heroes lore.
Yeah.
And
Really?
that's the conversation I
nothing
wish
about
I
it.
was in.
Hmm?
yeah.
Well, Phil, you got your channel. Invite
It's
Steve
true.
over.
Steve,
Yeah.
you're
talk
coming
about-
over.
about
We'll,
that.
we'll
Yeah.
shoot the shit
Steve.
about City of
How you
Heroes.
fucking
all
get
day.
getting called Steve?
Steve.
Yep.
Young Steve.
Young
Young Steve Buscemi.
Young Steve.
Yeah, no, I want to talk about because like it was going with the question of like how do you modernize a TTRPG, and also we talk about a bit about like vampire, werewolf, like World of Darkness and like that, and something I want to talk about eventually. But now is as good as time as any. Mechanics that we used to love, but don't anymore, right? We used to think, oh, that was great, but now like sometimes you go back to it and say, you know what, it's fucking clunky. I don't,
Yeah.
you got some of those.
Yeah, it's called Rollmaster.
Tell us about it, Phil. Let's go ahead.
So, like, when in Rollmaster, you roll an attack, and then you look on a table as to what the attack did because you rolled a percentile, and then it says this much damage and these 2 crits, maybe, and then each one of those crits has its own table that you look up.
Yeah.
And you find those crits and calculate that damage and tell you how much bleeding and stun rounds you have, and maybe other effects. And wow, if checking 3 tables doesn't slow down a round.
Yeah.
Oh,
I never been a fan of like game that rely on chart, to be honest. Like that's always like,
Yeah.
especially when you have multiple one. If it's like one chart that you can keep ND and stuff like that, that's one thing, right?
Yeah.
Which
I've almost become the role player your friends warned you about. I don't even want to do rules anymore.
Yeah,
I am the improv role player. I'm sorry.
I don't like I really fucking hate when half the things you do in the game are a high number on die and the other half are a low number on die. Like pick a direction you want the numbers to go.
Pendragon.
And have everything that way.
No, Pendragon, you have to. Pendragon is a weird thing.
It is.
You have to roll I, but under your skill, right? So you got like a window, right? But you want to roll I, just not too high.
But it's like blackjack. Then you want to get
weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like
you want to get close to 21 without going over, which makes sense. But, like, be consistent with your fucking.
Except it's not consistent. It's based on your skill.
Yeah, it's based on your skill.
All over the place.
Go as close as your skill without going over.
Yeah, right.
I like the blackjack.
Price is Right.
I kind of like that. That's it. That's interesting.
It's not 21. It's whatever number you have on your page.
Right. Right.
You know? But
and it's interesting because a lot of things is done with opposed roll, right? So if you bust, then you fail. But if both of you succeed, then the one with the highest roll succeed, right?
Right.
Actually succeed. But the other one is gonna get a bit of success too, right?
But you know what I mean? Like these ones are over, those ones are under. And it's like pick, and just have everything either over or everything under.
What's a game that does that?
The old school game, like old school D&D. Like there's something like, on this thing you want to roll high, on this thing you want to roll low, on this thing you want it was all over the place. And I think that's when people like talk about modernizing game.
Yeah.
Like that's something that have been modernized in a way, and some people can like it, some people can dislike it. But like in modern game design in D&D, like bigger number is better.
Yeah.
Basically always, right? Just like
yes.
But in old school games, that wasn't the case. Like, you want your armor class to be low, but you want to, and on your skill, you want to roll low. But on the, and it was all over the place. You just have to know it.
Excuse me.
So, yeah, I agree with that. I think it's better if you go one direction.
Yeah, because you run the. Oh,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
You run the risk of like a person forgetting, or getting them backwards, or
Yeah,
it's just a level of confusion that breaks you from the game, right? And it's like the more things you got to think about that aren't actually your character's motivations.
Now imagine if you had to think about nothing. Wouldn't that be good?
Think about nothing.
I also enjoy looking at a blank wall periodically.
Yeah, that's what I was doing this morning.
You get all the wall out of the way, and all that's there is the game and the immersion. Oh my gosh.
I think you've been
love running
drinking
around
more
the
than
back
I
yard with
have,
my
bro.
friends playing cops and robbers too. It was great times. We were young.
Yeah, it was.
Mhm.
I agree.
But then there was the inevitable argument: no, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did.
And
why
that's
we
what the
have
dice are
codified
for.
rules. That's why we have dice.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
why you
dice
don't
are
play.
for.
That's why I don't play with those
Right.
nerds.
Yeah, that's true too.
Well, I suggest you put a sheet over the mirror so you can't play.
But you know,
Yeah,
even in
fuck
roleplay,
with
there's
me.
rules as well, right? Just like we have those rules about like that we make for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
About like turn order, like you know, we developing all this like anchoring and those avoid turnflation.
Yeah, rules are not a bad thing. Mechanics are not a bad thing. I used to think that they were, and I was wrong.
They just should be discreet.
They should be discreet, and they should serve a purpose.
I think I like them most when they are super impactful and it'll guide the story, and you kind of have to roll with that. That's the funnest part of mechanics, I guess.
A
Otherwise-
mechanic should quickly and accurately simulate and adjudicate impactful situations or activities for the genre that it's trying to emulate. So certain genres may not require, and definitely won't require, certain mechanics that other ones would, like a sanity mechanic. Whether you like the sanity mechanic in Call of Cthulhu, having a rule for some kind of sanity or madness is necessary and makes sense, where it doesn't make sense in a pulp adventure game
Mhm.
or in a supers game, right?
And insanity was
Now-
also a big topic of last week's show. If you haven't
now-
watched, you can go back on the VOD and
Bear
give me the due
has
time.
Bear
Nice.
has a mechanic that works like that in his game,
Okay.
but from what I gather, it's like an optional. Like it's if you
What are you
need it.
referring to?
You have something that can be used as a sanity mechanic. You mentioned the other day.
Oh no, but you have a psyche stat in the game, which is
Yeah.
your mental willpower. So you just resist the attacks with psyche, and if you
Yeah.
fumbled, if you got a failure, like a 0-1, like you didn't just you got hit hard by whatever it was that was coming. You could possibly, as a narrator, decide, you know what, we're going to roll on the Palladium random insanity table and see what happens. You know, you could do stuff like that. There's no reason
Yeah.
why you couldn't.
Now it'd be nice if you had your own table in your book, so I don't have to buy another book.
Yeah, I'm not writing the Call of Cthulhu superhero game. It's okay.
That would be.
What about you, Bear? Is there like
oxymoron.
mechanics?
Maybe a
Sorry,
stretch
Nick?
mechanic, stretch goal.
Oh
It's
my
only
God.
one more page, damn you. Let's see if we can get this up to 600 pages in the next week or so.
200 hard page count.
Yeah.
When I get
Yeah.
the Patreon loaded, we can talk about stuff like that. I'll be happy to discuss it as an
Yeah.
optional.
You need to make it that a multiple of 16, no?
And I think going back to the your initial question, Max, what does it mean to modernize a game? For me, the mechanic of the game should have a vision in mind, right? You should have a specific goal, a specific style, a specific thing that you are trying to simulate and that you're trying to put forth that's hopefully interesting. I think a big pitfall in like the drive to quote unquote modernize role-playing games, especially for older IPs, and I talk about this in the in our video on the Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition core rulebook. You have this sort of desire among especially the big companies and the second tier companies to sort of sterilize and unify,
Mm-hmm.
which strips away all of the flavor in a good way, not sort of fluff as in, unnecessary information. And you have many different games that have a very simple and unobtrusive mechanic, but are very are very boring, or their staying power is exceptionally limited. This is, a big reason why I'm not a real fan of the Mutant Year Zero like lineage of games. They're not modernizing any older IPs to my knowledge, but the scope is exceptionally limited. The mechanics are so unified amongst the different player types in a single game and amongst the different player types in all of the games that use that particular rule system, that it all seems very boring. It all seems very samey. It feels like, like an Apple product. In many
Like what do you mean? Like if you're playing like one type of character or the other type of character, you can do like a different power, but they're gonna feel the same because they use the same mechanic. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like it, and again, I'm not against. I agree with Justin. You shouldn't have totally different, vastly contradicting subsystems within a game. So having, whatever it is, you have a roll under skill system. That's fine to have your fighter and your wizard and whatever do that. But because the flavor, like the Alien RPG does this, again, Mutant Year Zero does this, where the uniqueness and the flavor of the different character types are so distilled into like one or two particular gimmick traits or gimmick abilities. The skill system is very, what would you say? It's very scaled down.
Homogenized.
It's very homogenized. It's very scaled down. Sort of everybody does do the same thing, except I do this sort of a little bit better. I have this little gimmick I can do. What are the quote unquote classes in Mutant Year Zero? Like one is like a boss, one person is like a fixer or an engineer. They're all the same characters, except you have one extra quirky gimmick and I have a quirky gimmick, and that's the only differentiation that really exists. And I don't like that.
If you play a game like Call of Cthulhu, like it's like character kind of feels samey as well because you don't have like those class and you don't have like those specific like, oh, you're a librarian, you're like, but you don't have any special power to activate, right? So
but you have the
skills,
complete freedom of all the different skills.
okay,
Yeah, it's the
Is Mutant Year Zero not skill based then? It's just
it's kind of a hybrid game. It's skill. You get skill, but there are very limited set of skill that are meant to be used broadly.
Now, it's funny
So you
to
have like
place
a dozen skill or some, or like maybe more, maybe like
typically a lot of the similar characters then.
It's funny to play something like Call of Cthulhu where no one has any real intellectual skills whatsoever. So it's just a bunch of Goombas trying to.
That's usually good for your survival.
Yeah, but you're trying to.
If you're too dumb to see beyond the veil, then you're safe.
Don't read anything. Don't touch anything. Don't smell anything. Don't hear anything. Certainly don't taste anything.
Yes, but you also have no ability to fight against.
But you already don't have any ability to fight against the outer darkness.
Horror, the universe is indifferent to your existence.
Because I like homogenized mechanic. One thing I hate is when a game have different subsystem that are like similar but somewhat different, and then you always like confuse one another. That's fucking drive me nuts, right?
I would agree with you. I don't like different subsystems unless there's a real need for it. Within. Again, like the AD&D example, we were talking about. Why is it that this roll is roll low? Why is it this is roll high? And I have to account for speed factor, which can drastically change from round to round and does change from round to round.
I should be playing AD&D right now. Damn you, Mr.
I would recommend you don't do that.
I'm in a game with a friend. But it's come in, come go.
So what's the dream game for you then, Nick?
I mean,
you get your favorite players.
My favorite players, again, I'm gonna give an honest answer. I'm not gonna give a cop-out answer, but caveat, it does depend on the genre, right? That actually does matter. System does matter for portraying a particular feel and a vibe. But if I had my quote unquote perfect game and perfect players, right now I love Mithras by the design mechanism. It's in the lineage of BRP. It's a D100 skill-based system. There have been sort of more classic D&D-esque fantasy done with it. There's been sort of retro sci-fi done with it. There's been horror, urban horror done with it. But as written, the core book is sort of a implied sword and sorcery, Bronze Age kind of setting. The game used to be RuneQuest 6 before the new Chaosium was launched, and I really, really like it. I like classless systems, generally speaking, because you have the flexibility. Not only do you have the flexibility of sort of doing whatever you want, so long as it makes sense within the world, the skill range in BRP is like robust enough that it actually supports very long play. You're not going to reach 100 or 100 plus in a skill in, 10 sessions, 30 sessions.
Nick, Bear has to go because he's working in the morning and stuff like that. So I just want to
no
give a
worries.
chance to.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Did you want to add something quickly before you leave, or you just want to?
Love you, man. Miss you. Oh, and
good
also,
talking.
what we're gonna do, we're gonna make Arrakis great again. That's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna make it great again. The spice will flow. These Bene Gesserit bitches, they're bitches. We know it. They're all bitches. They're trying to manipulate things, but we said no way. We kicked them off the planet. We built the shield wall. That's what we did.
Great beautiful Sheila with the door.
Hell yeah.
I can't do the accent.
Yeah.
See you guys when I see you guys. And
Party
thanks
over.
thanks for all the support, everyone. Take care.
Talking
Take
to you.
care. Take care, people.
Party
Check
on,
Eric.
buddy.
Put the link in the chat earlier.
Oh, we're big.
I love that.
Yeah.
I want someone to do the whole fucking film.
Oh yeah, that needs to be done.
Just
Or
do
at
it.
least like a long fucking clip. Well, I'm too lazy for that. I'm too
Yeah.
busy.
Nah, I'm saying Justin should do it.
No, someone out there. I will
Yeah.
give you my 50 cents Canadian. I will find an American penny and cut it into 1/8.
The BRP system, you see, like you talk about that,
Mhm.
and I recently like went to read about that because I kind of like Call of Cthulhu and I love Pendragon, right, which is loosely
Yeah.
based on the BRP system.
Yeah.
But when I went to read the BRP generic book, I found like it was such a source of like disappointment for me. I found like every game that is derived from BRP did a better job. than
Yeah, I don't think the
I
BRP
never
core
read
book is
RuneQuest.
particularly good.
Yeah, and they have like insane stuff like, you do a critical success if you roll under 5% of your skill, and like so what now? Like not only I need to roll under my skill,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I
you're
need to know
showing me
what
that.
5% of my skill is. Like I got a fucking
Ooh.
67. Like for most people, that takes
It's-
a long time. I can say that it's a 3.5, right? Just like
Okay.
something like
I don't,
that.
Yeah.
I don't care how good you are
Not
at
everybody can do
math. I don't care how good you are at math, how quickly you can do the numbers in your head. Added
Yes, you
math
do.
to a roll is just bad
Yeah.
game writing.
Yeah.
All the time. When you're deliberately at, like you said, 5%.
Obviously, you're not talking about addition, right?
It's always bad. I just
You don't
just
mean
take what the
plus
roll,
two.
what the dice give you.
Yeah, it's like
No, I'm kidding.
It's just multiplying by 0.05.
No, but when you have like two like division and stuff like that, like now you're getting into like
Mhm.
the fewer numbers you need to reference every time you roll a die, the better your system is written.
yeah, and that's something that earlier somebody was saying. I think it was like Space Rudy was talking about like a dice pool game, and he was saying like watching people count hits, like watching snow melt,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
What'd you think of Total Party Skills, Nick?
No,
I enjoyed it.
I didn't get to say my thing, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
cut off Max here. He's talking about dice pool systems, and dice pool systems are cool.
I love dice
As
Sorry,
pool
long,
Max.
system.
as long
Then-
as you restrain the number of dice, you don't want to have some ability to get 30 dice in one hand.
Yeah, that's a
This-
problem.
Yeah,
Right.
But
Whoa.
that's the thing too.
Almost
Like,
broke
there's like
glass.
two way of doing dice pool. Like, there's dice pool that you add the dice together, and dice pool where you count success, right? And I find that people that do dice pool when you count success are usually faster, because like it's easier to say like, okay, I got like I
Yeah.
roll like 7 dice in front of me. I count like all the ones that are above 5, and that's it,
Mm.
right?
If I remember correctly, I don't know about the old edition, but the current edition of 7th C, it's a dice pool system, but rather than a game where, let's say, 4, 5s, and 6 are successes. So you count, you just count the numbers of dice that had 4, 5, 6 on them, and
Yeah.
those are your successes. You're counting multiples, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I rolled 6d6, and 3 of them came up with a result of 2. Okay, so I see that is
Are you counting like pair or some stuff like that?
pairs or more, right? So
Yeah,
the more multiples of the same
That's weird.
result come up, the better. What's
Hello,
happening, man?
Traxxas. First time
Hey,
on
how's it
the
going?
channel.
Hey,
Nice to meet you.
now we have like a hidden rule for being here.
Yeah.
And that's keep your clothes on, damn you.
I
should
will
add
keep
that
my
thing
clothes
to the-
on.
How you doing, man? I saw you in
Doing
chat.
good.
I was like,
Hey, young Steve. Good to see you.
What's happening, man?
Yeah,
Good to see you for the first time.
yeah,
Good to talk to you.
yeah. I could talk City Heroes stuff all day. Since
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, that's
I love that game.
Yeah, you've got
that's
like
not a topic tonight.
you got like 4 people now, Phil, to talk about.
Oh,
We
City
should
yeah.
Heroes.
just take this
Gotta
over
get a
turn it to
real
City
one.
Heroes.
For fuck's sake. I'm gonna go.
Some other time. Well, you got to say what your main is then, Thraxus. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the rule.
my main on live, which was the same server Nick was on, was
I was
Pinnacle.
Protector, by the way.
Yeah, and I
Hell
was
yeah.
I was on the villain side, and I played a Bots Mastermind, and that's where my
Hell
name
yeah.
came from. It was Dr. Thraxus, so I
Nice.
just kept that as my
What
name.
was your secondary?
My bots and then force fields was secondary.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So,
the way to
Double
go.
force.
I made him a
field.
tanker mind, basically. I just balls
Yeah.
to the wall, played him like a tank.
My main villain was a
awesome.
necro poison mastermind.
Oh yeah, that's a good combo. Poison's pretty nice. You got a lot of nice debuffs in that.
Mm-hmm.
I just went side Dominator and just
That I had one of those too, and I really liked it. Dominator's my
villains.
second favorite archetype other than Mastermind.
yeah, Mastermind's cool.
People are really into that City of Heroes stuff, eh?
Yeah. I think I
Yeah.
had like a Dark Ninja Mastermind. I think that was the Mastermind. I went with. Anyways.
Like I always say, like any mat in the game, if needed, needs to be front loaded, and character creation in game mats needs to be minimal as possible. I agree with that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, you don't need to be doing any quadratic equations to figure
No.
out if somebody got hit. or not.
Even there, like I feel
If
like
somebody
I
got
find like
punched or
when people
you
has to
know,
add more than 2 numbers together, for a lot of people it fucking slow down to a crowd, right? Because now
Yeah.
they add 2 numbers, they add 2 dice together. Now they have to remember the result of that, and then add the 3rd dice, and now they have to remember that, and at some point it just get like overloaded for most
Well,
people.
yeah. Well, that's what I said. It doesn't even matter how fast you are at that. Like you could be like right on the ball with that, but it takes you out of the character. I find like if you're like the emotional state and all that crap, which is the point of playing a role playing game.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
agree.
I mean,
what
anytime you
what
roll
is-
a die, that happens.
That's one reason
Well-
why I like Advantage, because it's basically a +3 if you look at the math. So you
I
can
think it was
always
+5.
or well, I think
Whatever,
it
something like
averages
that,
out to be like that. But basically, if you want to give a plus to something, just say roll with advantage, and
Yeah.
or disadvantage if you want to impose a negative, for the other side.
Yeah, I didn't think like the core mechanic of 5e was bad per se,
Yeah.
right? Just like they didn't invent it either, but
No,
It's
it's
like,
not. That's not new, but yeah.
Yeah, well, he
I
didn't
think-
say he was doing anything revolutionary.
I think I would make it less different types of dice. When I don't
Yeah,
wanna have- I don't want to
yeah.
have all the dice.
I kind
was
of like
Yeah,
using all the
please.
little clicky the math
Yeah, I
rocks that
know.
I pay money for. So
Fair.
that is a little bit different.
Savage Worlds does a good job of utilizing the different die types
does.
in a way that makes sense.
Oh, if
because
Bear was still there, I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
I'm not a tremendous. I think Savage Worlds does a good job at a very specific thing. It's
Never
not
played it.
my game, generally speaking, but I do appreciate it. I think it actually does make sense, and I do think it's cool that a sort of a lower skill or ability is a D4, then you go to a D6, up the chain, it goes. That's cool. It makes sense. I played in a
Yeah.
Savage Worlds Super
I'm
Scale.
actually currently playing in a Savage Worlds fantasy game where we're doing
Okay.
Curse of Strahd. It's interesting. No, it's been fun. The magic system in that is way different than D&D. So I'm a
Right.
wizard in that one, so that's nice. Basically, you're just using spell points. But
I was joking about writing a game that was a 1d6 system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Writing a game, yeah.
I mean, you're running a game. I was joking about running a game. I
Oh.
started too, but I gave up. So it's
Yeah.
joking
Well,
about.
that's not surprising.
At least you have the story to tell. That's what's
Yeah.
important.
And a 1d6
Yeah.
somewhere. I don't know where it is.
So Phil wanted to know
Yes,
what was
what
your
about-
impression of TPS?
And I want to
drank
preface that by
fast.
saying it was in response to the Have You Played Dice Pool system game.
Yeah.
It wasn't just meant to railroad over what you were saying.
Mhm.
No, I know.
And I apologize.
But we're gonna talk about that. You had
No.
your first go at the total party skill system,
Yeah.
which we stand by on this channel.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was very unobtrusive, which is good. I would not use that game for a long
Hmm.
like a long campaign. I think it seems to me like it works great for one shots or for like single arc games.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
So
not
I would
super
probably
deep.
I would use this that system as like a palate cleanser in
Yeah.
between longer campaigns.
Yeah, they were describing the progression in it, and you pretty much become super powerful, like after like a couple of advancements.
Yeah, because there's not
Yeah.
much place you can go in. You gain like
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
extra point in one of your attribute, right? It's pretty
Mhm.
big deal. It's an extra die, right? So
Right.
So
Little
either you
Jenny.
stay stagnant or you grow very fast.
No, I don't mind games where you stay stagnant.
I don't either.
Right.
yeah, Hey, if you're coming in at a certain power level and want to keep it that way, that's fine.
Yeah.
But also, like even if your character, like you get connection, you get resource, you get like different stuff. There's a different way
it's the
your character can
resources.
advance and
Mhm.
develop.
Right. There's different ways to do quote unquote advancement. I
Social.
generally. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I mean,
What do
this
they call it? Vertical versus horizontal? Like if you do
Yeah.
Yeah.
horizontal, you can
That's
just
the
like
way it's going.
be a master of all the skills. And the verticals.
This is something
Oh,
that
that's
that Fraser and I have been talking about with regards to Vampire and some stuff that he's working on, where again in the real world, right? You don't continually get every couple of years a +2 to ability scores, right? You don't continue to get
Excuse me.
smarter or
Mhm.
more dexterous just by virtue of being around. But what you can get is to your point. You meet people, you make friendships. You have rivalries, you have business
I wouldn't know.
connections. Yeah.
Well, I'm
Usually I lose them. That's what
Yeah.
I'm contractually obligated to mention Morkborg.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that's one of the real things I really like about that is you don't go up like all your stats or whatever. You earn advancements per one stat by doing things, or you could lose numbers in stats. So like if you break your leg, you could go down
Yeah.
a point in strength or whatever.
But also Morkborg is like meant for shorter play because like the
Yeah.
end of the world is
Yeah.
coming, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
but that's a system mechanic where the end of the world is like setting mechanic.
Yep.
Right. So like the fact that there's a countdown to something happening is part of the system, but you don't have to have it be the end of the world if your world isn't in an apocalyptic state. Right? It could just be like, I don't know, a war is starting or ending, right? Depending on whatever your game is.
Yeah, but I think if you're taking away the sort of apocalyptic angle, are you really playing Morkborg at that point? It's like, yeah, you can use the rote mechanics that way, but that's like the artistic spirit of like Morkborg.
Yeah, the core version of the game, but there are so many independent versions of the game that
I haven't looked at any of the other ones, Cyborg or
because Cyborg does too, because
Pilot
it's
board.
the developers of it's the same developers that make that.
Mhm.
But their license is open. Like, you don't even have to ask them permission. You can just like make your own version of the game.
That's
and
nice.
Publish it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You don't even have to put the compatible with logo that's available on their website. The only thing they ask you not to do is like basically the list of the list of things that are actually going to bring controversy to them, the isms stuff. So don't be blatant about it, and don't say it's made by them.
Yeah.
Right. You can use their compatible with logo, but
I think Vampire actually does a pretty good job at not letting you explode like on your power level. I know that it's all relative to like how much time's passed.
The what? The which one?
World of Darkness, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like especially V5. I think it's pretty slow progression.
Yeah, and I mean Vampire, it has to be slow. And honestly, it should be slower.
I guess if you're playing a realistic like simulation style, but if you think about it like a TV show, then it's fine.
Is there any way for you to become worse at something through anything like this? I've never seen that anywhere else.
In Vampire?
No.
Oh,
no. In any game like that.
Well,
like
a lot of games with a lot of complex crit rules will have permanent.
Yeah, I mean you could get ability drained in D&D.
Yeah, but it's like, I understand that those things exist, but they're not subtle. Yeah, it's always like this monster will permanently strip you 20 levels or something.
I actually think. Oh, go ahead.
You got game like Warhammer Fantasy where you have like crit roll that will like you know, oh, you lose a hand and stuff like that, right? Just like, and then like, well, that's something you have to deal with now. Like, just like, so some game does it.
I feel like Morkborg, it actually would make more sense because if rather than you get sort of ability advancement, you should get like character, devolution. As the world continues to sink into this apocalypse, you get worse. The world gets worse. Things get harder. It's harder and harder to resist the opposition the closer you get to this sort of annihilation.
Well, there are technical ways to prevent the apocalypse in that game. Right.
But also Call of Cthulhu has sanity points and they go down.
So, that's true.
And you get other things from that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
Traxxas, you have a mechanics that you used to love and now like you say like, you know what, I didn't fucking love that before.
I used to love the old Thaco AD&D mechanics. I played Hackmaster, the clone that came out in 2001. Just as everybody was going to 3rd edition, I was entering. That's when I started playing, and my friends they're like, no, we're not playing that. We're going to play this. So I cut my teeth on all that. But nowadays I'm like, I don't want to have to mess with all that. I did run a game of that a couple of years ago with some engineering students and they loved it. But I also think it's also an age thing. Like when I was in my 20s, that was fine. But as I get older, it's I want a little bit more simplicity. And as far as being the GM, I want stuff that's easier to run and adjudicate.
I also don't want to have to explain to you like to a new player like multiple times. Now that this is how it works, right? Just like, if you cannot get it like the first time, like maybe it's too complex.
Yeah.
But I used to love Taco as well. Sorry, and like when 30 came out, I didn't play third edition. Like it was too different for me. He said, "Well, you don't have tackle anymore. You know, like and now like armor class goes up and stuff like that." And I was just like, "That's not D&D anymore." So I didn't like. I sticked around with the second edition until like Pathfinder came out, and then all of a sudden like, well, you know, like not different game,
Get this
different
toilet
name.
paper out of here.
But like the fact that it was renamed or something, like I always hated when like a game like changed the rule set. You know, oh, you tell me it's the same game. It doesn't have the same rules. It's not the same fucking game, right? You're just like, but anyway, that's maybe my autistic side.
To Space Brody, the full rule set is on their website for free without the art, so you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I actually really like. I haven't gotten a chance to run it in years at this point, but the way the Numenera core mechanic, wherein the GM doesn't have to run it, roll anything unless he wants to roll for sort of random stuff, you know, quote unquote treasure, what have you. Everything is a D20 roll, and everything is it's a difficulty value, or for a monster or some sort of anomaly, it's an opposition value of 1 through 10. What is it? It's times 5, right? So you if it's a difficulty 3, you got to roll. I think I have this right. You have to roll a 15 or higher on a D20. So obviously you're going to get into situations where the number is higher than a 20 for the opposition. So you have different powers and equipment, assistance from other people that are necessary to sort of overcome the obstacle. But it's very simple. That's like boom, 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 easy. Only the player is the only one who has to roll. It's one D20. You know exactly what you need to hit. Get in and out. You know.
Yeah.
Is that the cipher system? Or
yes.
is
Yeah.
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 Morkborg does that. It's a 12. Like everything unless specifically stated is a 12. So whatever your stat is, because it's -3 to +3 base character, it can go up to +6. So you take that plus whatever you roll, and if it equals 12, you succeed or better.
Got it.
Yeah. Unless specifically stated, it's harder or easier.
I played in a one shot of Morkborg when it came out, but I don't recollect the details.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, I got 2 mechanics that I can talk about, right? And I think that's going to be interesting in this with like some of you around here. I used to love. I thought it was like pretty clever in World of Darkness how you subtract 1 as success, right?
Yeah.
And now that's something I dislike now.
One's
if I cannot
successes.
Yes. Because now like
imitate
when I do what, sorry?
I agree. I hate it, and I think I always hated it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to think it was clever, and even when I was writing Bastard Sword, which used to be called like Winter Dawn, whatever. Like I considered that at some point, and then like in playtest and stuff like that, I said like, man, that's slow down interpreting roles so much because now you have like 2-step, and that's always something like if you want to do a role, make it in like I want to make the roll, read the roll, you get your result, right? If I have to do like 2 or 3 step, that takes too long. That's gonna take me out of the character space. And in the same line of thought, I also dislike exploding dice because of that. Now, like like now I used to love it. It was exciting and stuff like that, but it's not the kind of excitement I'm looking for in role-playing game anymore, right? Exactly. Now it's slot machine. It's like, oh, I got a big number. I can get more.
I tried to tell you that like 3 months ago, but you're still into it or whatever.
3 months ago? No, I don't think so.
Well, yeah, I said it was like slot machine mechanic.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe misunderstood you.
It's a prize, but the prize isn't the development of your character or the successes of your goals. It's like the prize is arbitration.
Yeah,
like, you're not playing an arbitration
like,
game. You're playing.
I get the point that you want to have like amazing results sometime, but I think that's the wrong way to do it because now like I rolled my die. I have to roll again, right? It's not like resolved yet, right? So now like it elongate the dice rolling mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I,
Too much
I,
for me.
I definitely see what you're saying.
And that's the
Yeah.
big thing with me. I like the dice mechanic to be like
Yeah.
I
Get out
don't
of the
think I
way.
could I don't think I could keep in frame as much as you guys do on your 4D games because I like to goof around more. But
Yes.
I like the mechanic to be like in and out as fast as
Yeah.
possible. And that's why I like the standardized result number, because then the game master or whatever
Yeah.
doesn't have to tell you what to roll for. You just roll, you know if you've succeeded or not. You just thumbs up, thumbs down, whether you
Yeah. Sometimes you want to have like
Yeah.
difficulty that can impact and stuff like that, but you can say, like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be hard, that's gonna be
I
easy.
kind of like that just because it makes the players, have to think more about like, not knowing. So they want to,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of like you want to keep some stuff,
Yeah.
There's a bit of a poker game between the DM and the players when you do that, and I kind of like that interchange.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good for like adversarial like combat, but if it's walking across a ledge or swimming, those are you doing that thing, not
Well, yeah,
interacting with a sentient creature. That's when the up or down scale would go into that roll. But if it's climbing, well, that's your skill. You should know your ability on that.
Oh, okay, yeah, on that, that's fine.
But
yeah.
but
I thought you meant
then
like
there's also the point like how
12's
hard
always
this
the armor
wall
class
is
or
to climb,
something.
right?
Yeah. So like
I like the idea of exploding dice and damage because
I
it
do
keeps your
too.
game lethal.
Yeah.
It keeps things lethal,
Yeah.
and it's like critting on damage. So
Yeah.
people like it, and the monsters
there's no-
fun to do for the monsters.
If you're just going to do like a skill check or like an attack check,
Yeah.
and you
No, but
get the top result, that should hit.
I get
So there's no real
the
reason
point
for
why
it.
people like it, right? Because like you said, like, yes, make the game, it keeps the game lethal, but like then it probably implies that you're playing with hit point, and maybe that's something you should look into. Maybe that's not the right way to go, right? If you have if your monster a big bag of hit point, and now you have to roll like 3 times your maximum result on your dice to kill it, right? To one shot it. Well, then maybe there's something else you can look into.
I
there,
see.
like
I don't
maybe
look at it that way. I think so. I understand what you're saying on the criticism of sort of exploding dice.
Mhm.
I still prefer them, or prefer them. I like them when I'm not opposed to them. Right? They definitely don't belong everywhere. I'm not opposed to them. Because I don't think the additional time interfacing with the mechanics to roll another die again, particularly if it's a damage die, or dice, depending, is sort of a it's an insignificant tax addition to the role play from my perspective. And second of all, I like it because the possibility of tremendous and unexpected success allows you, from an in-character perspective, it sort of justifies and gives space for sort of the in-world, like David versus Goliath moments, where if you look at it mechanically, if this was D&D, David did not have mathematically the maximum amount of damage or skill to be able to overcome a higher CR creature, right?
But what if he did? Why not?
But whether he did or didn't, it's not the point. The point is,
then he's not David, right?
The point is that he's an insurmountable, or seemingly an insurmountable obstacle, right? So
now, knowing the people that wrote that story, David was probably like 500 guys beating on.
All right, come on, Justin. Now, don't be blasphemous. You know this is a Christian show.
Yeah.
It's like 500 guys beating on a kid with only one leg.
So you shouldn't be thinking this way in general, but it's a mechanic that gives space for the unexpected, and in some small way prohibits the tendency of a player to look at the mechanics. I can reach this maximum result in a skill roll, or I can do this maximum amount of damage in a single round, and so even though my character would do this, it is not tactically advantageous for me to act in the way that I should be acting.
Well, why not? Because you kind of know what you can do when you can do. Like, I can look at a fucking like sheer wall and say, "There's no way I can fucking climb that." Somebody else can say, "Yeah, I can probably." I can lift. I can look at a deadlift bar and say, like, "Well, I can probably lift that." And somebody else says, "I'm probably. There's no way I can." Right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
you kind of have an idea. Like, and sometimes like
That's
maybe
why
I
it's good
think I
for
can
Well,
lift
damage.
that.
yeah, can you? But can you when like there's a bunch of dogs chasing you and your adrenaline spiked and your child is on the line?
Yeah, that's
And that's where
why
the
there's like dice roll. Yeah,
yeah.
but it's still
So-
like,
And this is something a lot of people get like. A lot of people have said this, and not a lot of people are actually doing it. I feel like you shouldn't be rolling any dice unless it's
Yeah.
dramatically relevant.
yeah,
To go outside and get your fucking mail,
Yeah,
I
you don't
need to
need-
make a constitution check.
yeah. I
Right.
think we all agree on that, right?
Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
well, if you don't have that many rolls, what's Jenny D gonna do for her hair color?
What?
I was thinking that like with damage, like either you like rolling, you get the squirts out of the rolling, or you don't. So if you do, then you must enjoy that super awesome roll once in a while. So you should allow for that to happen. I don't think it makes sense in anything really except damage.
What I like with damage is like if you have like an amazing success on your hit, right? If you do like the if we separate like the hit and the damage, right?
Hmm.
Like that's something that bothers me. Like when damage shouldn't just be random. Like you outperform the other guy, right? Just like so, you should have like
Mhm.
it should have an impact.
Well,
I
So
don't
you're
know.
saying a
How-
more skilled strike should do more
Yep.
damage.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay,
If-
okay.
if you're two swordsmen with the exact same skill, like it's literally luck that causes one fighter to win over the other.
Well,
And then
it
your
can be.
skill
There's
should
a little
I
less
don't
little
know about
factor.
that. It can be, but
yeah.
I can
some
I can
even
talk a
Master
bit what I
Race-
I guess maybe I should because like I'm fucking writing a game. I should talk about it sometime, right?
Yeah.
Well, like I stated specifically that they have the exact same, like they're absolute mirror images of each other's
So
skill
like
levels.
one of them standing near a banana peel.
Well,
how a
you
combat
don't
is
know.
decided?
You don't know what stray
s-
rock on the
One of them
field.
ate like a bad
causes you-
chicken in the morning, right? Or some of them.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
you know,
But that's not reality, right? Like people
Who-
don't decide combat through random
who-
chance.
who accidentally catches a glint in their eye and misses the sword coming at them or whatever, right? Like
Right.
that's bad luck. Right? Like you're not planning to get momentarily blinded by the sun or trip on a rock while in a sword fight. But
I think
that
that's a good comment
happens.
from Doc Flamingo. I feel like rule design should take an engineering approach, keep it direct, simple, and consistent. That I agree. Have as few moving parts as possible. I think that's also a good idea. And good enough is perfect.
Do you know how many models of fax machine come out every year?
Fax machine.
Not that many
I
anymore.
would not
Six.
imagine not a lot.
Uh,
So I would agree
it's an old engineering joke, right? Like
Ah.
it's the most over-engineered and
Oh,
useless.
and they all
machine.
work like shit.
Mhm.
And they all work like shit.
So I agree completely with Doc Flamingo there on that comment. However, with the addition, and I sort of harp on this continually,
Mhm.
because I think it matters, and I know that I'm right. The any design needs to be anchored and embedded in some sort of creative idea. There's
Yep.
no such thing as a platonic ideal for a game,
No, of course not.
or for
yeah.
anything else. So
Well, there's
before-
platonic ideal for a chair,
yeah,
but he won't sit in real life, right? Just
yeah, you'll be imagining sitting in an imaginary chair.
Yeah.
Help you.
But your
Uh,
brain is
it doesn't help
actually in
you
a
at all.
jar.
you have to understand for yourself if I'm writing a game, developing a game, or if I'm just running a game. What am I trying to convey here? What am I trying to
Yep.
do here? And then you can develop or you can find existing mechanics, existing tools that are in service of that thing.
Yeah, there's no one size fit all, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I don't know if you get a large enough Mumu.
Who wants to wear Mumu though? But what I was about to say, like one thing, like for the damage thing and stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to do with that's what I'm doing with Winter Dawn, right? With Bastard Sword. Sorry, every name. I need to get used to it.
I like
With,
the name Winter Dawn, man. I don't.
Yeah,
I
the
love
reason we changed the name is because like we're talking about bear, and that's the thing. Like Winter Dawn kind of invoke a setting,
Yeah.
which I'm not providing. I'm not like giving you a setting really, right? I'm just like I'm implying a setting through the rules, but I'm not giving you like, oh, this is what happened and stuff like that because I hate that shit.
But that's what
It's the
sells
system.
games, man. Settings
is
are
a-
what sells games,
what is a
not
platonic-
rules.
I don't quite understand what you're saying there, Nick. Are you saying like it can't be setting agnostic, or like what
Even
is-
a setting agnostic.
Genre agnostic, I think, is
Well,
what
what
more
was
what
the
you're talking about.
example I
agnostic.
used? Fireballs and grenades are functionally the same thing. You know, they
Yeah.
blow up an area.
It's like trying to make a sci-fi
But-
game out of D&D 5th edition. It's you
It's
reskin
doable.
stuff, but
Certainly
it's
done.
doable.
Yeah,
you
people
can
have
use
done
the
it.
Same rules,
I mean,
Yeah.
but-
I don't know.
And this is the problem. I've never read GURPS, but people say this is a problem with the GURPS core book. This is definitely a problem. We were talking about the BRP core book.
Yeah.
It doesn't ring true. It feels, at least to me, it feels sort of incomplete and empty because it's giving you rules. This is a classless D100 skill point based system. This is a perfectly functioning conflict resolution mechanic. It does work, but that type of game, that type of mechanic, I should say, works better or worse depending on the setting, and more importantly, depending on the kind of genre, the kind of feel that you're going for. And so I think it's sort of a fool's errand to try and think first, okay, what mechanic, I'm writing a game, what mechanic am I going to use? Well, I kind of like D&D, but I like also World of Darkness, and I like this thing from Savage Worlds, and so I'm gonna, even if you reincorporate all of these things and they make mathematical sense, if you have literally no idea what you're trying to run or what game you're trying to make, you're almost certainly going to sabotage your own product or your own creative, enterprise there.
It's interesting because when we were playing that Total Party Skills game, I did kind of feel like there was a lot of stuff that wasn't utilized. There's a lot of almost maybe 50% of the game that we were kind of just leaving off to the side while we were playing our game.
Yeah, I mean that might be why. I only looked at what Crispy sent me, but
yeah, I don't know if it's 50% because it's a very
we never ran
rule-like
combat,
game.
but we were supposed to.
Yeah, it's a very
Never run
it's a
what?
very rule-like game. There's one mechanic we didn't really use about the soak damage and stuff like that, right? Just like
There's
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
okay.
skills we never used.
That's fine.
yeah, but
lot
that's
of,
the nature also of the game that we were playing,
Yeah.
right? Just like
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't
But,
have
Exactly.
to use
Isn't
every.
that what we're talking about? It's the nature of the game that determines.
You
One
don't have
example I
to
have
use
some
every
games.
rule to play the game functionally. Sometimes rules are there for what if scenarios or if you want to do a specific thing, right? So
Hello, Dan. See, when I run Call of Duty, about 80% of the rules end up on
There you
the
go.
side. Yeah. So
Yeah.
sometimes that's it. You don't use all the rules, right? They're
Yeah.
there. They're there if you need them.
but you don't for most
Yeah.
But
But the
again,
example about when you're saying about platonic game and stuff like that, the example I often use, you look at a game like D&D 5e and Warhammer Fantasy, right? If you look at the setting, they can feel similar. They're like a medieval fantasy, right? Just like one is a bit darker or whatever. But just because of the rules, they play and they feel very different as game.
yes,
Mhm.
yes.
So
Again,
the rules are not just they matter.
I
Again,
don't
from
have any
what-
experience with Warhammer Fantasy, but from what I understand, and from what I can imply from the setting, again, I'm going to have as a character in that world, I'm going to have a different
Motivation.
well, not only motivation, but let's take combat, let's take damage. I'm going to have a drastically different. If I want to play the character sort of the way I'm being encouraged from the mechanics and the setting, I'm going to have a drastically different reaction to violent conflict or the prospect of violent conflict in Warhammer Fantasy than I am in D&D. Now that could be good if you understand what you're doing, right? An investigator in Call of Cthulhu, a librarian in Call of Cthulhu is going to react very differently to a gun being brandished than Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones should not react the same way as the librarian in Call of Cthulhu, not only because he's sort of an adventurer, but he exists in a pulp adventure genre.
Yeah.
Those are like super close. You picked two like really close things, but like maybe for like a cartoon versus like a grim dark, like you're gonna get slashed with a cut. Yeah. It's gonna feel different in one.
But when you bring the game at the table, just by the rules, like people are gonna approach the situation differently. Like they're gonna be like much more prudent by default.
And it could be mechanically the exact same rule, but described. Like language is also very important when you're writing the game.
I don't know. You think so?
Yeah, I think because like you have the same rule mechanically, but one is described as like being brutal and dark, and it creates the psychological impression into the people who read it.
I remember like in the 90s, right? Like that was like a big with the Wall of Darkness. To come back to that, right? It was supposed to be like all edgy and like existential angst and shit
Gothic
like that.
Punk, yeah.
Well, I'm not even.
But then it was a fucking superhero games, right? And like people would read the rules and say like, well, why would I be like all like, I'm this fucking monster that can fucking like kill everybody? I was just like, you didn't have like this. The existential angst didn't come up through the rules, even though it was written that way. People like which can just fucking read the rules and figure out, right? That makes no sense. I wouldn't be like that if I had those power, right?
I guess I don't agree.
Well,
a lot of the powers are like tied to like inner angst and struggle and crap.
Well, the disciplines themselves mechanically are not, but you have the beast, right? And you have blood points, and blood points suck as a mechanic. Hunger Die is in every way.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's the best. It's the best.
And messy criticals also.
Messy criticals, bestial failures. It's excellent.
Everything's better in B5.
A lot is better in B5. Not everything.
Yeah, especially Mr. Bester.
Yeah, the meta is not as good. I'll do that.
I do like that they had the right idea at the beginning, because they said canonically it was true the Ravnos are dead and they should never have been made. But then they caved. That clan sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it when companies cave on. Like you have this great idea and then you back out because some fucking assholes. Yeah.
Well, it comes to them thinking that a very vocal minority is the majority when most people aren't even paying attention.
That's what happened to City Heroes.
Yep.
Yeah. Everything good is ruined by nerds.
It's true.
Oh, there you go. So Cody is with you, Phil. Just get
I'll back up about what? Yeah, you will.
Yep. But yeah. So yeah, what I wanted to say about like Winter Dawn, like Bastard Sword, to go back with the damage.
He probably said that before I said V5 is good because he hates it. But sorry to interrupt you.
But it's not the first time, right?
Now Nicholas is agreeing with me, so I have to note that out. Most people don't think, so they only know what you tell them. And if you don't tell them things can be done, they don't know that they can be done.
That's true.
That's true.
And that's why presentation is key.
Also, some people don't belong and never belong in certain communities.
That's true. As well.
Well, yeah, but we don't advocate for mass extermination on this show.
I'm not confirming that that's what I meant.
Well, you know, it's a famous Al Swearingen quote: "You can't slit the throat of every person whose character it would improve." But
But I sure will try.
Winter
Where's my
Dawn,
knife?
Bastard Sword.
Bastard sword.
Where's my
I forgot what I
spoon?
want to
Better
say.
yet.
I forgot what I want to say now.
Yeah,
It's past
Max
there,
just,
like
just
no.
tried for 15 minutes to talk about his own game.
Yeah, I guess
But,
it's not meant to happen.
I want to hear
Yeah.
about it because I love that you've done an SRD, and I like that you've talked a little bit about it, and I really want to hear more. You clearly took some inspiration from Pendragon with the virtue and the vice thing.
Yeah, I might actually cut the part.
I
love-
want to learn a lot about this game. I want to hear
Yeah,
more about
the
it.
virtue and device. I like that part. I like how I like how it worked mechanically, but I might cut it just because it's one more thing to track. Because I got the spirit point also, which you can. They
I
kind of stand in
suggest
for. Sorry.
I suggest you replace it with whiskey and hookers.
No, that
So-
wouldn't work.
Well,
you want
because
blackjack and hookers.
I'm the person
you
who
can't drink
continually
blackjack.
is
I don't mean
Well, you
as a
get served
mechanic of
whiskey
cool.
at the blackjack table, so
I don't. I'm not saying like a mechanic. I'm saying like an actual bottle and.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Maybe. Anyway.
So what is
that's
the
gonna go down
vision,
now.
Max, that you're trying to like put? Like, what are you actually trying to create here?
All right. With Bastard Sword, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to answer a question. Can you have like a crunchier game where the crunch serve the role play instead of getting in the way of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to solve. Like that's the question I'm trying to answer. So I'm not gonna lie, like it's a bit of a crunchier game than like it's definitely crunchier than TPS. Almost everything is. It's a bit on the crunchier side. But I try to make it in a way that's logical, that makes sense, so it's willable. You don't have like 10,000 mechanics to resolve. And when you make a roll, you get the result of the roll like right away. You don't have to make a roll. Okay, you scored that, so now you have to make this other roll or look at this chart. I don't do any of that, right? Just like
Right.
It's a lot of contested rolls, right?
a lot of contested roll or opposed roll, and also like I try to when you do stuff like I try to give action name to it to the power or maneuver that you activate, so it flow normally like in your language that you use to describe what you do, right? If you do like I shift one step toward him, I get in the range of attack of my sword and like stab him, like like it. They're all like kind of mechanic.
So you're trying to make a crunchy but unobtrusive, and well-engineered system. But what's grounding it? Like what is the genre that you're trying to embody? You mentioned there's sort of an implied setting. Bastard Sword itself does imply a setting. Like what?
Yeah,
Feels sword and sorcery to me, but
it's kind of like fantasy, it's low fantasy, and it's meant to be like greedy, right? Like a big core of the mechanic is those spirit point, right? Which kind of serve as hit point in a sense, but also as a resource that you can spend. Like they're a mix. Like I call them spirit point. They're a mix of your stamina and your morale, right? So if you have something that affects you, you get depressed and stuff like that, then you lose some spirit point. But also if you get tired and stuff like that, and you can like some adverse circumstance can make you lose spirit point, but you can also spend those spirit point to get bonus dice. It's a dice pool system. You can purchase, so there's always like a risk reward, right? You can push yourself, but then you can get tired, right?
But everything is whether it's damage from a weapon or
the damage for the weapon. The damage from weapon damage per se give you injuries, and you can get killed in one shot pretty easy with a good shot. And in the fight, that's something I'm trying to do. What? Yeah.
All I'm asking is, can I play Highlander in it?
Well, you would have to add something for the immortality and stuff like that, because that's not part of what I'm trying to do here. It would work well for like something like Berserk or Dark Soul and stuff like that.
I want to play Highlander.
Because a lot of what I'm trying to do with the fight is like you're gonna try to set up a position to give you like an advantage,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're gonna go for a kill shot, right? So a lot of the
Okay.
fights should be like about positioning, and what I wanted to avoid, what I find like fucking boring in games, and when like the enemies are a big bag of hit point, right? That you just like have to chip away.
Sure.
I like if your round, if the only thing that changed in your round is like some of the character lost a few percentage point of their health, right? That's a fucking wasted round.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen
I
that a
want
lot
it to be
lately.
much more dynamic than that.
So they would take actions and get modifiers based on other things, and that would further tell the story of the combat
Yeah,
in
like
more defined terms.
you want to get to like when you like a lot of the combat is going to be made with or is made with opposed role, right? So if
Mhm.
two people
Okay.
engage in combat, they're both gonna read like, and then you take like it's not like oh you react to the attack of the other. Like no, like guy A attacks you. Now you can take your turn now by defending against him. So now like both people take their turn. So like those two characters are solved now, so we can move to something else, right? So that also helped with the speed of combat. So instead of like, oh, now we do guy A turn, guy B defend, then guy B take his turn. No, you do both at the same time. It matters who act first, right? And then like both gonna make the roll and base like who the one with the most success, because it's a dice pool system where you look for success. Like the difference in success allow you to cause damage, or to maybe you want to push the other guy, or maybe you want to disarm him, or maybe you want to grab him, stuff like that. And like grabbing him is important because somebody with a lot of armor, you would want to grab him and then stab him with a dagger, and then you can ignore his armor. So that's what I'm talking like about setup and kill shot basically. Like you would want to move in his back, and then so next round you can attack him. If the other guy got higher initiative than that, you can like stagger him, and then like you get your initiative higher, and then you're in the offensive the next round, right? And then it matters. And this difference in success you have between the two, this is what allows you to buy basically like damage dice, and the damage roll is the same thing you look for success. So
what,
if you
what are you trying to emulate here? Like you're putting a lot of emphasis on having combat mechanics that work in a realistic manner. But surely those combat mechanics must emulate a particular type of fighting as over another type of fighting. Someone who is a duelist, let's say, is going to fight very differently than a pit fighter. So like the mechanics surely must be like leading towards a vague vision of what like an archetypical character would be, a player character in this game. And then again, setting aside the mechanical considerations or the mental tax, you had initially a strong vision in mind to have morality be a core aspect of the game. That does imply the existence of a world or a genre where morality or philosophy actually matters, right? Because if in D&D, who cares? You know what I mean? Apart from your spell, if you're a cleric or a paladin, it's absolutely terrible. So
yeah, the idea I had with the virtue system that was like that isn't there, like they're kind of complementary to the spirit point. Like I said, like the spirit is like kind of your stamina and your moral, like in the sense like a moral with the E, not with just the L,
morale,
right?
okay.
Yeah, and am I saying wrong? Which one is the when you get like demoralized, right? You can get demoralized.
Morale
Morale.
to me and moral is
Okay,
like
if it's morale, then
it's like
when you can get demoralized.
Yeah.
And the virtue were like kind of bonus spirit point if you're acting toward a way that is consistent with your character personality, right? So it was kind of a way like to mechanize and enforce kind of like a character's personality in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I want to say this morale conversation really disappoints me. You're supposed to fuck with them.
yeah, Justin
fuck
wanted
with
to tell me to say stuff wrong, so I cannot trust him.
Oh, fuck with Max. I gave you accurate information, Max.
Yeah,
That's
So I
wrong,
appreciate-
man. He's French and a ginger. He's double.
Yeah, Max, that actually reminds me of something
He's
that
also the most
I'm
based
doing
person
in a game right now.
in RPG YouTube space. So
I'm
Sorry, go ahead,
running.
Traxxas.
What you're describing kind of reminds me of something I'm doing in a game, and I just ran a game today, and it came into play. And so I'm running a Shadow Dark game with some people online. Shadow Dark's very basic, so I have about 30 pages of house rules I've added on to
That's
Shadow
almost
Dark.
as much as the game itself.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, I made a few new classes, added some other things because I like Hackmaster, so I added some like Hackmaster things. We have a crit table things. We have quirks and flaws, which what I wanted something that would encourage the players to remember their quirks and flaws and use them and kind of role play them a little bit. But I got some very mechanically minded players. They're not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to ease them into role playing little by little. And so whenever their quirk or flaw comes into play, whenever if they have a negative effect for it or something like that, they get a karma point. And then they keep track of those through tail. And they have different ways they can spend it. They can spend it at the end of the adventure for XP, or they can use it for different die rolls, or they can use it in the moment when they need it. So several of them were going down, they needed it, and they actually were using it. And one was like saving up her karma points for something, and she had to spend like half of them to save her butt. So it worked out really well for that. And we're not going into super detail on combat, but as far as describing anything, but that was a nice mechanic that encouraged them to play their characters that had these, like one of the characters, he has combat arrogance, so he can't attack things that haven't attacked him yet unless he makes an intelligence save. So he's having to make those constantly. He's crewing up the karma points if he's failing them or making them, but then he can use those for later things and all that. But it's also and that's that's a combat quirk, but there's other ones like fear of different kinds of monsters or beings and things like that. So and you kind of get some of that with it, but it seems to have worked nice, and that's what I've worked well today in the game. So I've liked that. But
I like what you're saying. Like mechanics that kind of like enforce, but that's the thing. Like for what I'm doing now, like I'm not sure if it's gonna survive to the final project, just because like it's one more thing to track, and because the game is already like kind of crunchy and stuff like that, right? And it's kind of complementary to like spirit points, and spirit points kind of like the core of the game, right? It's a game.
Yeah, you don't want too many things that sound the same.
Yeah, exactly. Like that works in similar manner, but that's just like a little variation on that, right? That's bothering me. I haven't been willing to cut it now because I kind of like it, but it probably needs to be cut. It's kill your darling kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I just find a way to take the things you want and merge them all into spirit points. Because you've got spirit points.
Maybe I could find a way to do that. Yeah.
You want it to have other utility, so find a way to give it that.
Yeah, because like the game is also about like managing your level of energy and your morale. Yeah, that's what the game is about. It's about
it's
about not getting depressed or tired.
Oh well, you can't think about any wars then. Post about it with an Afghan.
Yeah.
But anyway,
sometimes wars embolden you and don't impress you. Because they were correct.
That was before modern war.
Yes, when kings had virtue and
war was glorious. Anyway,
yes, and there was such a thing as glory.
Yeah. But like to come back to damage, that's what I'm talking. Like if you have like, let's say you score like, because you can spend spirit point as well, right, to gain bonus dice, right? You could try to go all in, right? And it's gonna be risky because also like you cannot roll more dice than you have your current level of spirit point. So and you have like much more when you start. But at some point, as your pool get depleted and depleted and depleted, at some point, I cannot use my full dice pool anymore because I'm getting tired, right? So now you engage in the kind of death spiral, and because like enemy winning over you is going to deplete your spirit point and stuff like that. But at some point, you can say, you know what? I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna spend a big amount of the spirit point, get a bunch of bonus die, and then you score like 5 success over your opponent, and then you say, I'm gonna put them all in damage. And then you can fucking one-shot the guy, right? So it's this whole thing about like and there's other way you can gain bonus dice, you know, if you manage to get in his back and stuff like that, right? So there's a bit of like a greediness there. And you can have like different character. You can have a character that's more dexterous, a character that's more like brutal, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, for what it's worth, I would suggest if thinking about like, again, like what kind, you don't have to develop a full setting here and have a huge section of the book and a page count with an explicit world. But it seems to me like it would be quite valuable from a creative standpoint to really think about what kind of actual world and what kind of actual people you imagine exist in this game, because it seems very abstract to me. Like you're you really want to get like a clean and an elegant combat system, but I think there's a danger in like you're trying to make the perfect tool, but if you don't know what you're trying to do with the tool, you're never really going to have the perfect tool.
No, but I know. Sorry.
You like low fantasy settings, so make a low fantasy setting.
Yeah, I probably should.
Yeah, right.
I still want to play a Desert Goblin, shit like that.
I'd probably
I want to
look
play
for
a
like
Desert Goblin.
examples of like where you see what, you know, like what movies or books or anything like that kind of describe the feel or genre you're going for, and that kind of helps the reader paint a picture, and like, you know, or at least you can describe it that way, and then like okay, like is combat like the fight in The Departed or something, or not The Departed? What's the Leonardo DiCaprio movie where he's in Alaska fighting a bear?
The Revenant.
The Revenant.
Think of it.
Yeah.
Is that the combat you're going for, where it's like that, you know, kind of intense? Or
I want it to be very grounded, right?
Yeah. I listen to you talk about the kind of fantasy you like, and I see kind of like Ice and Fire minus the dragons and the ice wall.
Yeah.
You know, like cut that shit out, and then that kind of world.
I like things that are very grounded, and I want like, because like for me, like what's heroic, like I'm not a big fan of superhero. We were talking about that earlier a bit. I'm not a big fan of superhero because like I think like those are like extraordinary people doing stuff that is mundane for them, right? Just like, well, oh, you can fly, well, good, you can just fly from birth, right? Just so good job with that, right? So, I like ordinary people that do extraordinary stuff. That for me, that's the essence of heroism, right? And that's what I want to do. I want your character to be like kind of like a regular guy that push himself to his limit. And you know, like it comes from a background, like I'm an athlete.
So when Bear was on Connell's show earlier, the Scardium, we spent the second half of that talking about heroic, and Bear went through the scale of types of characters you want, because I asked him, and the first one you can play basically just a guy off the street. You can play the nerdy guy
street
from
level.
The Voice.
You
know, like not even Butcher or whatever, but the
and that's the advantage to like point-based character
what's
creation, because you can scale that way.
You can play like the fuck, what's the name, like the Michael Douglas movie, Breaking Down. That's my superhero.
That would be a fun RPG to play. I love that movie.
Hell yeah.
Is it called Breaking Down?
It's called Falling Down.
Falling Down. Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that would be. I would love to play that game.
You could do that in the same kind of world as you like the first Die Hard. It gets a little crazy
Oh, yeah.
after the original one when he
Yeah.
starts throwing cars at helicopters. But
I've never seen any other Die Hard than
the first
one.
one's the only one worth watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
The
don't
second
care.
one's okay.
Yeah, it's Die Hard in an
Someone's all
airport.
I don't
Yeah.
remember. I've seen the first one a few times. I don't remember the
I
other
always
one.
wanted the first one's a must Christmas watch. So
Yeah. I like the Rick and Morty episode.
oh,
Right.
the Pickle Rick
No, well, no.
where he does Die Hard. I thought that was
Yeah. The aliens invade the arcade, and it's like, oh, you're doing a Die Hard.
that
And
one.
every
yeah,
race
that
has
Die
a
Hard.
Die Hard. I
Yeah.
wrote a book all about how you do a Die Hard.
Rick and Morty does a couple of Die Hard tropes.
Yeah, well, there's a whole episode where
Yeah, I know that one
the
does.
villain is.
But yeah, so like a
It's
big
the
part of
only
what I
episode
want,
I've watched.
I want that. I want like ordinary people that like push themselves out of necessity or out of like fucking being, I don't know, kind of insane or something like that. Like, and that's why like the spirit
Mhm.
was such a core. Like, and even though like it's funny because like when I write it,
Mhm.
because the mechanic is fairly simple, it's a small part of the book when I describe what the spirit mechanic is, right? Okay, you lose
Yeah.
some stuff is gonna tell you you lose some spirit point. You can also spend them to buy bonus dice.
Okay.
But then because it keep like popping up everywhere in the game, and because it's always central, you always have to
Yeah.
kind of like manage that. And that's what I want. I wanted the game to be about like the toil of going on adventure, right? Or like about like this grind, and I don't know why. Like nobody's want to play that. It's not you're not like a hero, right? You get tired, you get depressed. You want to have a guy that play music on your
Thinking like a survival
on your
game
team.
is kind of what
Yeah.
you're describing.
Kind of like you want a guy that's gonna come with his loot on your adventure, not because he can fucking cast spell, because then when you're at a campfire you can sing song together, and then that
I
uplifts
really
the
like
spirit.
the virtue vice thing. If you're going for heroism, because heroism is different. There's a Venn diagram. Heroism is different than bravery.
Yeah.
You need to have an ethos to truly be heroic, and you need to be acting in opposition against something that is
Yeah.
you know
With the virtue vice thing, what I'm doing is like it's like the Aristotelian kind of idea where
Yeah.
like the virtue exists between two vice, and then you want to avoid the extreme. But then
Yeah.
I kind of flip that on the side because it's when you act in one extreme or the other, right? If you want to like the virtue of courage, there's on one side is like the bravery and the daring, the reckless and stuff like that. On the other side, like being craven or being prudent,
Mhm.
and you can
I
like you
saw
can
that.
get like
That's interesting.
you can like spend like point. You have like kind of pool of point for those virtue that you can spend to get bonus dice, like if they were like spirit point, but like for if you're acting in the way that represent that side of the virtue, right? And they replenish when like you have pool for each side, and they only replenish when you depleted both sides. So if you're mixed between both, then well you have to have sometime act daring and sometime act prudently. But you can go all on one side or on the other side. But like then it gave like some consistency to your character, right? You cannot just like I'm gonna try to mix min max and have like get padded on the registration, because at some point it's not gonna work, right?
Now, how would you play a character that isn't actually balanced in those? Like, so if you had a character that was like their personality was more daring than prudent, could you do like if I've got only 5 left in this one pool that I'm less likely to do, I just discard them.
No, like what's happening? Let's say you have like 5 points in daring and 0 in prudent, right? You're all like fucking daring all the time. Then you mean like when you act in a daring way, you can spend some of those points to get bonus dice to your dice pool. When you want to act in a prudent way, then well you don't have any point to spend, so it's at 0. So you just like, well then you're on your own. Like you never like this little bonus that for acting according to what you value and what who your character is.
I'm not convinced that I'd
have to play it. I'd have to play it.
I don't. I'm not sure that having you sort of moment to moment or round to round, like mechanical interface with that virtue vice system. Through like a spend mechanic is the right way. I mean, even I don't become. I may be doing a brave thing in the moment, but I don't. That doesn't reflect how. If I have these virtues, if I have these tendencies, if I am a courageous person,
Yep.
I don't become less courageous by burning my courage points necessarily.
No, it doesn't mean like you become less courageous. You have to think about that like they're like spirit point, right? It's like because you're acting in a way that is like according to your personality, you get like this little inspiration that you can push yourself more, right? That's because you can always like.
But this is a resource pool, right? That you're spending, right?
Yeah.
I mean, something that RuneQuest does. They don't have virtues and vices in the way that Pendragon does. But let's say, so for example, there are elemental runes. Every character has on their sheet these sort of runic affinities. You have a score in all of these things. Now let's say the air rune represents sort of passion. Oh, take care, man. Represents
Party on.
passion, sort of, rashness, impulsivity, in some cases violence. And okay, let's say I have a particular score on that, and in that game, because it's BRP, right? It's a class base. You make a skill roll based on your score. So if I have 75 points in the air rune, I roll 75 or under. If I succeed at that roll, I am inspired by by this aspect of my nature, and it will give me a particular bonus depending on how well or how poorly it could go bad for you, depending on the result of the skill. And so you get to have this quality, and there are also literal passions. You have loyalty, hatred, love. You have the ability to sort of gain a mechanical benefit without having something that needs to be tracked. And I don't think something like a virtue vice needs to be tracked as granularly or as immediately as something like a spirit point.
It wasn't always that way. And I tried a different thing, and like I can talk like we're talking about like mechanic we used to love that we don't anymore necessarily. Like and virtue in Pendragon is kind of one of those, right? I like them in theory, but now like when I play it now, like I don't like how they take away like player agency, and also like, well, okay, you try for a virtue roll, but you fail, so now you have to roll for the opposite virtue, and now you want to fail that. And if you don't, then there's all like this whole fucking like mechanics, like 3-step, like
Isn't
and
that
takes too long
something
for
that
me.
they're doing with Daggerheart too? You'll have 1 or 2 dice and you have to pick, and it goes to like a poll. I don't know.
I think everything is based on like 1 or 2 or 3 like emotional attribute. It's gonna be dog shit, but
but
everybody.
That's what the sound.
Hope
I
and
mean,
despair, I
it's
think.
Yeah.
You get in hope and despair.
Hope and despair. Yeah, that was it. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at Pendragon in a very long time, but like I wouldn't. Again, I don't want to keep going back to RuneQuest, but like with passions in RuneQuest, you always have the ability. You as the player have the ability to make a roll to be sort of gain a benefit, to have this affinity or this passion.
Yeah, that's
embolden your action.
That's similar in Pendragon as well.
Yeah,
because in Pendragon you had the personality trait, then you had the directed trait, and then you have like the passion. And also that's also something I'm not so in love with anymore, because it's like 3 systems that are like kind of similar but kind of different, and they all do like slightly. It's like at some point like pick one, right? Just like like
I'm gonna take off, Max.
Oh, sorry, Phil.
Have a good day, y'all.
You too.
All right,
Phil. Thank you for joining us.
Party
I'm
on,
gonna
man.
wrap
Party
the
on.
soon. Also, it's midnight here, so
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
yeah.
So.
But that I cannot put that on screen. Yeah. But Dice Tales coming.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reason what I want with the resource pool, because like it wasn't always that. It's like I wanted to,
Man,
because if
I
you just
rolled-
what
I rolled a 1, a 3, a 5, a 7.
What are
I
you
don't
talking about?
know. I don't know what keeps happening every time I roll. It's
Oh, you're trying to get a. All right.
It's
You keep rolling those odd numbers.
Yeah. The what was I saying? Yeah, the reason I went with the like make the virtue kind of a pool thing is like, one, I wanted to bring it, like I didn't want to add a new mechanic that was completely different. So like I want to kind of like base it a bit more on spirit points. So just saying like, well, the kind of like additional spirit point for when you act in that way, right? For when you act. It avoided me to add another system. But even then, that's why I'm thinking I might cut it, just because like it's still kind of another system. It's like it's now I can just say like, well, they work the same way in this, right? Just if you act in this way according to this virtue or to this side of the virtue, this aspect of the virtue. But and also the other thing is I wanted to, because if you just have like a trade that you can roll to get a flat bonus or some shit like that, right? You can always roll the same side, right? There's no real disadvantage of rolling the other side. But I wanted to have like that's the thing I really like. I like well, you have to deplete both sides for both sides to replenish. Like I think that was like that's almost like what I prefer in the system I have now, because I think that's interesting, because like if you want to have your character balanced, kind of even out the odd, then well, you will have to act, if you want to benefit from your bonus, you will have to act according to that, right? You split your point in between two,
The
then you will
two
have
being
to
in
act.
this case, let's say, what was the example for like, it's like courageous and prudent?
Yeah, like daring and prudent. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I guess
I get
And also like
mechanically what you're
and
going
also
for, but I think it's just going to lead to the players acting like schizophrenic people, which they normally do anyway. But
yeah.
um,
Well,
you're
but
kind
that's
of
the thing, like
enshrining
you
that in
can
the rules.
one thing also, like one like that I didn't mention, but it's kind of like important. One once when your pools replenish, so when you depleted like both side, you can then also increase one side at one point, like to your maximum, right?
Yeah.
And then or shift one if you're in your maximum, because it's also like
So is that
the
more like a
two.
long-term thing to deplete both pools before you can replenish them? Is this more of a long game kind
Yeah,
of
it's
mechanic?
not something you're gonna do like in one scene, right? It's something
Okay,
you're gonna do like over time, right?
okay, okay. So
Unless
yeah.
that makes a
yeah,
little
you
bit. Yeah,
want to have like
that seems a little bit more.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And
Because I could
yeah,
see
bro.
that, like, over the life of your character, of the player character, they could,
Yeah.
you would want to achieve that balance, and that
It
could
should
be
be
like, and that would tell the story of them, progressing.
Well,
But I just think
maybe
that
you
if
want to achieve the
if
balance,
it's
but
like
maybe
moment
also
to
you
moment,
say
then yeah.
maybe you can also be this character that start like fairly prudent, maybe a bit craven, right? Just like but then like as you deplete the both side, and you can slowly shift your point toward the other side, and then you become like braver, and you have like this mechanical like tracking of that, right? I thought it was kind of cool. But
Yeah.
like I said, I probably need to cut it, to be fair, to be honest.
I
I'm
don't
I
trying
think
to
you
know.
can roll it
visualize
into
it.
something and just think about what the end result that you're wanting, and then
Yeah.
say, is there a way to do this with, an existing mechanic that you can.
Maybe one thing I could do is like have you pick one virtue. So instead of like you pick one virtue that's important for you, like that's gonna be like the arc of a character, maybe, or something
Mhm.
like that, right? So instead of having the 5, you pick one that is important for you, and you're gonna go from I don't know. Maybe that's the thing I can.
Yeah. I'm again. I would love to hear more about the game, and I certainly you're the only one who has the ultimate answer. I'm not convinced that this is sort of something that needs to be left on the cutting floor, because it's interesting and it's unique.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would say is, if you are going to anchor a mechanic in something like virtue and vice, which are a real sort of objective thing and operate in an objective way in like the spirit of a person, the mechanic should, in my opinion, like be in simulation of how they actually work.
Maybe invert it, right? So instead you have a pool and you spend it to do things, like every time you do something cowardice, you get a point. Every time you do something heroic, you get a point.
And then you have to
there's-
reach.
and if one maxes out or hits a threshold greater than the other, that other one permanently loses the ability. So say like
Ooh,
your
I
chart
like that. So
has
you're
it.
limiting. You're trying to keep them.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like your character,
And it's
like
a role play. It's based on
actually-
role play.
Yeah, so your character goes from doing cowardice things to being a coward.
But that doesn't solve my issue because it's still another system, something else to track. Like I want
Well,
to reduce the
you're
number
not-
of things
you're
you
not
need to keep track of, right?
You're not expending points that you gain back. You're gaining life experiences that are then like.
But what other they impact? Like what impact does it have on mechanic side, right? It needs to be there
Well,
need to be
it's a
there need to be a
reference-
mechanical reason for it to exist.
It's a reference to how you are interacting with the world, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you would put on the character sheet like 2 lines with a bunch of bubbles in it.
Take care, man.
And I
And
died.
coward and bravery written at one end, and then you like permanently mark off a bubble every time you do something cowardice, and you mark off bravery.
And again,
that-
this isn't something that's being tracked and going up and down multiple times a session, or even once a session, because these are impactful
over the
moments.
character's life.
And you can very easily imagine some sort of mechanical effect that having a low, high, balanced, whatever configuration.
But maybe like, so say you have
wanted to.
you have a certain number of bubbles over a lifespan, right? So from your teens to death,
Yeah.
and it's broken up every certain amount for
I usually currently what the maximum you can have like for both sides together on one virtue is linked to your your persona and your wisdom. So it's like based on your attribute. So like people with more personality can get like more emotional, more passionate, right? And
where what I'm thinking is, instead of having those affect the status, have the status affect those. So like completely flip it around.
Yeah, I don't know. I would need to think about it, but because that's the thing also. Like something like leaving something on the cutting floor, I don't see it as dramatic, because something like it's not that it's a bad mechanic necessarily. Maybe it's just like
Just
not
doesn't
right
fit.
for that game, right? So maybe it's something that can be recycled somewhere else. So
Sure. Oh yeah.
Well,
definitely.
yeah. Well, have a good night, Doc Flamingo. Thank you for dropping by. And I think you know what? I
Take
think I
care, man.
might wrap the stream now. Like, oh man, we almost like went 3 hours now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get that by the time we wrap it up.
I hit this a little too hard earlier.
Yeah.
Well,
I kind of sobered up now, like during the stream. I
Just
kind of
now, but
was a bit tipsy when I started. Yeah. But
I had 5 fingers of that in like a half hour.
yeah.
Well,
I had a bit of whiskey of bourbon as well, but you know, not as fast as I can process.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, anything else?
You guys having me.
Let's
This is fun.
wrap up. I think it was an interesting conversation. Yeah, and it helped me like on game design. That wasn't my point tonight. There, like, but that was an interesting conversation also on mechanics we used to love. Like, I'm sure we can revisit that sometime. Yeah,
definitely. All right.
Traxxas, do you have a channel that people can follow?
No, I'm on Twitter or X as Thraxis at Thraxis72, so you can see me shitpost and harass.
Oh yeah,
it's
harass
awesome.
Black Lodge Games and other people. Yeah, so
Hell yeah.
I follow you. I need to check it out. Yeah. All right. Then follow Traxxas72 on Twitter, like it's on the screen there. Black Lodge Game channel. So you can
Absolutely.
and new video tomorrow. Excited for that.
Yeah.
New video tomorrow, and we are going to be filming the return of the Black Lodge
Podcast.
Games podcast tomorrow. That won't
Yeah.
be available
Ooh, looking
tomorrow.
forward to that.
That will go up later in the week, though. This is going to be.
And you still do like the Thursday night kind of hangout stream, right?
Yep. So this is going to be like a triple shot of content this week.
Good, good,
So
good.
And you can find me
There's a
Mondays,
co-host on-
Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon on Hungar's channel.
Is it
And
noon or is it half past noon?
no, we started at noon now because I had
Okay.
to do something on Mondays at 1. So
noon Eastern.
yeah,
Eastern time, yeah, it's the only time zone that matter.
yeah, real time. We call it real time around here.
Yeah.
I do still think in East Coast
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I grew up and lived in the East Coast for most of my life. Well, all of my life except until 3 months ago. So
Mhm.
it's hard to shake.
And yeah, and I'm popping up all kinds of other places as well. So
Yep. And also, well, we had a Bale earlier, so you can check his stuff as well.
Yeah, I saw his Kickstarter, and it looks like
Um,
Victor's Kickstarter is also in the.
Yes. And
like
Victor
a pinned
Kickstarter
comment.
responded.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I posted the link earlier. If you go scroll back on chat, I can
Yep.
put I close the tab now.
Excellent.
And Ongar also that dropped by earlier. So
Mhm.
thank you for all them. Then am I forgetting someone?
Do you still do the Thursday thing with?
I haven't done in a while. Like I might start that again at some point, but not this week. Tomorrow I'm gonna be on a traveler game. It's gonna be like a 4-hour extravaganza game.
Hell yeah.
With 28mm Rick is gonna be the GM on that.
What edition
so
of Traveler are you doing?
Mongoose.
Is that the one? Is that the one Shauner plays? I don't even know what.
Yeah,
he...
Shauner's gonna be in that game with us. Yep.
Oh shit. Okay.
I will
Yeah.
finally get to see him roleplay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So join us. I think it's gonna be fun. I don't know.
Nice.
I expect him to do Mother May I's everywhere. And
Well, you'll see. You'll see.
see.
No, you know. But and then that's it, and that's all I have actually. Like this week, and then it's gonna be like next Sunday, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you all for people that joined me in the panel, people that join us in chat, people that watch later on the replay, and I'll talk to you soon, guys. Take care.
Later, guys.
Now.
Enjoyed it.
Party on, party on.